football is usually etched in its interstate rivalries. But every now and then, there's rivalries that arise on their own, and those seem to have a little bit more definitely more venom. And here's a little bit more pizzazz as we bring you to the raucous Autzen Stadium for the Washington Huskies and the Oregon Ducks. Hi, David Locke along with Sonny Sixkiller as we get ready for some real rivalry football. The trash talk is gone. The coaches tried to subdue it all week long, but they couldn't. And now it's ready to play football, and much of it, Sonny, falls on the Husky defense.
There's no question. The Husky fans have seen that defense stop the rush early in the season. Trouble with the pass. The last few games, you see the secondary, David, has stepped it up with the interceptions. Big game last week against Oregon State. But on offense, the last two games, 142.5 yards rushing per game. They need to wrap them up today.
Much of that reason is the great running backs they faced in Tyler Ebell and Steven Jackson. Rick Neuheisel says Ontario Smith is the best in the Pac-10.
Well, I agree with him. The big O right there, Ontario Smith, is big, he's fast, and he averages 4.8 yards a carry. And look at that, 12 touchdowns.
Now, if Oregon has Ontario Smith, the Washington Huskies have Reggie Williams as their main guy.
Well, there's no question. You go from number 2 to big number uno right here, Reggie Williams. And look at those career yards, third on the all-time list. Leads the team in receptions and the UW school record with 8 100-yard games. They need a big day out of Reggie Williams.
The easy thing for Oregon is they hand it to Ontario Smith. The Huskies are finding new ways to go to Reggie Williams.
Well, you see him here in the slot, just clearing out the area, getting him out in the open field and getting the ball to him quickly. They do it on the left side. They come back to the right side here, and Reggie has the power to jump into the end zone. Cody Pickett needs to get the ball to Reggie Williams this afternoon.
And Sonny, if he does, he's just 136 yards away from being the single season all-time passing leader. Cody Pickett as the Huskies come out of the tunnel at the newly renovated Autzen Stadium.
Boy, what a nice place this has turned out to be. And Cody Pickett, 5 wins. Look at that, David. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception, and the losses. And obviously we remember 2 big games where those 10 interceptions came in the wrong time.
Well, last week, if anything was learned, it's the value of turnovers as the Huskies got 5 of them. Autzen Stadium, that is a special spot, ranking right up there with Husky Stadium, is maybe the nicest in all of the Pac-10, and it is renovated and improved. And all of a sudden, look out the Willamette Valley, and you may be able to see a little grayness coming. 58 degrees, humidity at 67%. The wind at 20 to 25 miles an hour, that'll play havoc. And there's no question, there's a chance of showers. You can see it moving.
Hey, over the years, David, yes, a lot of showers, and you can see Coach Bellotti there. He's got the lid on. He's ready for any weather.
4-2 against Washington and 1-3 against Rick Neuheisel. 2 of those have added some extra oomph to this rivalry because they were bowl games where Bellotti and Neuheisel had some problems, including a fake punt by Rick, up by a lot. Ironically, in the bowl game that Jim Lambright said the Huskies should have gone to. On the other end, Rick Neuheisel, he has been fired up all week long. He had the guys in the hotel with crowd noise going in the hotel yesterday, screaming and yelling. They blew out the speakers in the Dempsey Center. It is a great week leading up to this, and finally, we get to roll.
Well, the players are ready for it. I know the coaches from both coaching staffs are ready for it, so hey, you got to win it on the field. It's not going to be that guy. It's going to be the guys on the field.
Oh, I don't know. That guy thinks he's going to have an impact. I promise you that. The fans don't even sleep well this week. They're so ready to go. The Huskies lead this series by a large margin, but it's the bottom half of that has added to this rivalry, and in some Husky fans' minds, made it their premier week of the college football season. The Ducks have won 5 of the 7. The Huskies are up on a palace. They live in a palace in a cathedral on the top of the hill, and Mike Bellotti and the Ducks have been working their way onto their land in the last few years. This gets to Northwest supremacy.
Well, it goes back to the Pac-10 voting on the sanctions against the Huskies, and of course, who voted in that pile was the University of Oregon Ducks. So all right, it goes way back.
Does it go back further when the Washington Huskies voted for Cal to go to Rose Bowl?
It goes back to 1949.
Somewhere along the way. Since 1995, they're the 2 winningest clubs, Oregon and Washington. And John Anderson ready to let this place erupt and explode and get us underway. And the Autzen Stadium crowd with the renovations and extra up to 54,000 in the crowd now, $90 million expansion. And Anderson's opening kick deep in the end zone. Amundson's going to bring it out though. And he's hit at the 18-yard line, falls forward to the 20, and that's where Jason Fife and the Oregon Ducks will bring it out. Fife replacing Joey Harrington and doing the impressive job, 15th in the country in passing efficiency, completing 56% of his passes. Dan Weaver's the best of that line. He was a walk-on. He's now on the Remington watch list. The running back, Ontario Smith, the all-time leading receiver at Oregon, Keenan Howry. But Sammy Parker and George Reister have been the main targets of Jason Fife this season.
And the Huskies are starting, David, with a different safety. Owen Biddle is getting the start this afternoon.
As James Sims does not make the trip. Opening possession, a throw with nice blocking out in front. Parker's got some room. Out to the 50, Biddle finally able to bring him down at the 42-yard line of the Washington Huskies.
Yeah, that was a nice play to start the game. You look at it, and right there, Sammy Parker, probably the fastest guy on that Duck team, just getting around Nate Robinson. And what a huge play for this Oregon team to open the ball game, David.
May have seen there, he stepped out of bounds, so they'll place it at the 45-yard line. But Sammy Parker has been the #1 wide receiver for Fife this year, 41 receptions. He's now over 600 yards. It's a reverse, Keenan Howry, and he's looking to throw. Man open, Parker. What's the ruling? Complete pass, ball? No, incomplete pass. The original ruling was complete pass. Ball was forced out by the ground, but the back judge came over and overruled the call. Mike Bellotti rolling the dice early.
Boy, no kidding. I tell you what, though, the pass, if it was thrown any sooner, it wouldn't even be close. You see Howry setting up, kind of just laying it out there for Sammy Parker. Let's see. Boy, I don't know, David. That was very close to a reception.
That was a reception.
I say it's a reception too, Dave.
First big
Huskies
break
get a break
goes to the Huskies, absolutely. 2nd and 10. Screenplay. Whitehead brought down from behind by Manas Hopoi. And that's Terrence Whitehead. Ontario Smith has been beaten up all week long, and Whitehead's getting the early action. The defense, Manas Hopoi with 5 sacks and 9.5 tackles for a loss. Terry Johnson's picked up his game a great deal as of late. Kai Ellis will probably have to have a big game. Marquise Cooper now leads the team in tackles as well as tackles for a loss. Ben Madavi and Jafar Williams are the 2 seniors. And James Sims Jr. seeing the starting lineup, but Owen Biddle starts today. Nate Robinson and Derek Johnson, the corner. Sims rolled an ankle, will be unavailable for the game today. This is Whitehead, met right at the line as the Husky defense on a 3rd and 1. It'll be close to see where they mark it. Looks like they mark it at the 34, which should be a first down.
Yeah, it looked like it was a pretty good spot and pretty good movement up front by the Oregon offensive lineman.
Another first down for Oregon. What about the mental state here? Oregon, Mike Bellotti's club has lost 3 out of 4. The Huskies have been reeling. How important are the opening moments in this game?
You know, I think both teams have thrown away whatever the record is. It's Huskies and Ducks, and all that matters right now is the ball game that's on the field.
Fife rolling out and throwing. Reister, the tight end, complete. George Reister's 34th catch of the season.
Well, everyone talks about Reister being one of the top tight ends in the country, not only the Pac-10, and right there, big target for Jason Fife. Nice roll, nice throw, and Owen Biddle there just in time to make the play. But Reister's a big guy. It's going to be it could be, you know, with Kevin Ware and the Huskies, David, it could be a nice day for tight ends.
2nd and 1. We know Mike Bellotti and their coaching staff will roll anything out. This is a down and distance that allows for a lot of different plays. Instead, they'll run to Whitehead across for the first down, brought down by, I believe, Ben Madavi shoving up the gap in the hole.
Well, the Ducks are doing a good play calling here. They're moving it around.
doing different looks on offense, forcing the Huskies to adjust and seeing what they are, how they are adjusting from the coach's box. You see him there looking at the plays on his arm. And Jason Fife, you know, a guy that came in and the big junior replacing a legend here in the Valley.
And he's done a nice job in the games in which Oregon has not rushed for 100 yards. He has struggled a bit. They leave him with safe throws. Here's another one, a screen play to Whitehead. He gets to the 10, and inside the 10-yard line, finally brought down by Mahdavi. And they keep safe, easy throws for Jason Fife to get his confidence going after a tough day last week at Washington State.
Well, he's done some play action. He's done a short roll. This time you'll see him just a quick fake, roll to his right, but it's a screen away to the weak side right there. And what a magnificent play to cut down the rush of the defense. And, you know, that's going to really play on the Huskies, David, as the game wears on, is how aggressive are they going to be able to get to the quarterback.
Oregon, unbelievable in the red zone. They score 93% of the time. And 78% of those touchdowns. Fife to roll. Heavy pressure. Nate Robinson drops the interception.
Whoa, what a break. I think Nate Robinson, David, was looking to go end zone on the other side and took his eyes off the ball. What a gift this was from Jason Fife. Looking downfield, Howry was covered in the flat, nowhere to go. There's the pressure and there's the drop. Just took his eyes off it at the last moment. What a big break that would have been, huh, Dave, for the Dogs?
Big breaks on each side already on the opening drive. 2nd and goal at the 8-yard line. Whitehead's the back, and he gets it. And Carruthers comes up to stuff the hole with help from Kai Ellis, and it'll be 3rd and 8 at the 8.
Well, they went with their power running formation there with the 2 tight end set. You got Reichster and also Josh Rogers lined up on the line just trying to do a little power play, but the Huskies did a nice job of getting penetration from that defensive line front.
10th play of the opening drive of the football game. 5 wide receivers with Reichster, the tight end, split off the line. Huskies will rush 3 to the end zone. Parker, touchdown, Oregon. Sammy Parker in the end zone for the 7th time this season. And the Oregon Ducks get first blood at Autzen Stadium.
Well, they just sent Parker out on the freshman Nate Robinson one-on-one. Had the slot receiver come quickly to the inside, and Sammy Parker with just a quick slant. Great timing. Nice throw by Jason Fife for the score.
A 10-play, 80-yard, 4-minute and 2-second drive.
Boy, what a way to start the ball game, and nothing unusual for the Huskies, however. They're used to having the other team score.
Siegel in for the kick. He's hit 42 of 43 PATs and hits this one. There's a flag on the play, though, before we put that on the scoreboard. It's almost a question. Movement on the kicking team. You almost wonder, Sonny, how important it's going to be, how many points get put on the board.
Illegal formation, offense, only 6 players on the line of scrimmage. Replay the try.
Well, replay the try from 5 yards back, but finish that thought. It's almost, you wonder, it seems obvious to hear, sitting here looking out over the Willamette Valley, that the rain is coming. How many points people get on the boards before the weather starts to make an impact on this game?
Well, yeah, you certainly with the weather being, as predicted, wet, you like to have nice drives and nice scores, and certainly Oregon did that on the initial drive.
Siegel's second attempt at it is as good as his first one. Those points can stay on the board as the Oregon Ducks, behind a Jason Fife to Sammy Parker touchdown, leads 7-0. The rain has arrived as the Oregon Ducks lead the Washington Huskies 7-0. And Siegel getting ready to kick off. Derek Johnson back deep with Charles Frederick. Johnson led the Pac-10 2 years ago. He'll get his first return of the season here. And fires out to the 27-yard line. A flag comes down behind the play. And we have our first pushing and shoving of the day as well. And the penalty, initial indication against the Washington Huskies. So the Huskies, let's get the official call.
During the return, illegal block in the back above the waist on the receiving team. Penalties 10 yards, spot of the foul. First down.
That'll start Cody Pickett and the Washington offense at the 11-yard line. Cody Pickett, as we mentioned, 136 yards away from the all-time Pac-10 record in a single season. The offensive line, Elliot Zajac back in for an injured Dan Dix. And Reggie Williams looking to go over 2,000 yards in his career, or as he did. Rich Alexis back at the running back. Alexis with 95 yards this year on 53 carries in Pac-10 play, but able to get around the outside on the first carry of the day here for Washington and pick up 6. The Oregon defense is led by Haloti Ngata, the freshman up front, 6'4", 335 pounds out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Olszewski is very strong as well in the interior. Mitchell's a third team All-American last year. Moretti leads the team in tackles. And in the secondary, they're very young. Stephen Moore, the left corner. Gibson's banged up a little bit. We'll see a lot of bins at that corner as well. Draw play to Alexis. And losing his footing, but maybe rolling over the top of Tuiasa Sopo. And getting out to the 21-yard line.
That's a great way to add some yardage to the run. Very impressive so far for the Huskies, despite the penalty on the kickoff, with 2 nice running plays, and they need to capitalize right now and pick up this first down.
3rd and 1. Huskies convert 47% of their 3rd downs. They need to get to the 21. They will not. The offensive line just got blown up.
Well, look at the other side. You see Aaron Butler right there. I can't do it right here, but you see Ngata just fly through there on the weak side. Somebody's got to slide down and pick him up, and it looked like it may have been Khalif Barnes just sealing off the backside.
That's the #1 defensive lineman recruit in the country last year.
Yeah, he's a horse. There's no doubt about that.
McLaughlin into punt after a great week last week. Hits a big punt. Oh my, it lands at the 13-yard line, went 85 yards in the air, and falls dead at the 3-yard line. They'll put it down at the 2. Derek McLaughlin has just punted the ball. Doing quick math, 80 yards. An 80-yard punt by the sophomore from Mesa, Arizona. The Oregon Ducks leading the Washington Huskies 7-0 with 8:43 left, but special teams have just changed this game a little bit. Derek McLaughlin's longest punt in his career, longest punt in a Husky career, 80 yards.
Looked like it came out of a cannon. No height on it, and that baby just took off, and Derek McLaughlin, you're right, what a turnaround.
Well, now the defense has Jason Fife backed up on his own end zone. Whitehead in at running back again. Ontario Smith not expected to play. Fife over the middle, complete. And it's Reister again, their tight end, splitting the seam.
Well, that'll get you out of your own trouble. Nice pass. Jason Fife just pretty much a straight drop back going down the seam. Looked like Greg Carruthers was in pretty good position to make a play on this, but the pass got there in such a hurry, he didn't have a chance to have knock it down with his left hand, but that was a nice play.
Jason Fife, 6 of 7 to start the day. They go back to the running game. Whitehead circled and finally brought down.
Well, they say Terrence Whitehead is fast himself, and he's not as big as Ontario Smith, but pretty darn close. And for a freshman, he's a good-looking running back. And the Ducks always seem to bring in a running back, David, over the years.
He's a freshman out of Los Angeles, California. Went to Crenshaw High School, which is traditionally known as a great basketball school.
I was gonna say, yeah. I'm sure that he probably played a little hoop.
And ran for 132 yards in his first start. That was against Stanford. Smith went last week against Washington State, but was not effective. Husky may have jumped. No flag down, though. They work Whitehead to the outside, and the speedy Husky defense able to be there for the gang tackle. I think 9 of the 11 guys in on the tackle.
Well, yeah, I think some of the Duck players were expecting a flag on that play, but Jerome Stevens able to get back and get set. And it's nice to see you need some pursuit on these Oregon running backs. Not only Whitehead, and obviously Smith, but see him just get back in time. Pretty good defense out there. And the other thing is they got a lid on Jason Fife, the quarterback, as well.
Second possession of the day for the Oregon Ducks. They took the opening one, 10 plays, 80 yards. Reister's in motion. Fife with a lot of time will run. And Cooper hammers him short of the first down.
Good coverage downfield that time on Sammy Parker.
Let me check that. They gave him a great mark, and they give him a first down. They had to get past the 40-yard line, and they did.
Just enough, but it looked like he was trying to get outside to Reister, his go-to guy early. You know, Jason Fife will run. He's a pretty good athlete and good size.
Fife having the tough task of following Joey Harrington, but here at Autzen Stadium led the Ducks on an early drive in the season against Fresno State. That brought back memories, and he gained a lot of confidence with it, but overthrows Keenan Howry there.
Looked like Howry was open to begin with, but Ben Madavi got nice deep drop that time, the middle linebacker, and Greg Carruthers also was back there.
That number right there, the passing efficiency, nobody knows what 143.6 means, but what it really means is that they have a great running game that allows Fife to be efficient.
Well, running game and Coach Bellatti's system, they always do a lot of play action. They do a lot of screens. Those type of plays will get you a lot of yardage after the catch.
It's 2nd and 10. They'll option. Whitehead on the toss. And out to the 40-yard line. Check it, it's Ryan Shaw, the fourth string running back for the Oregon Ducks, getting his first carry of the day.
Yeah, I saw Shaw warming up. Obviously, Ontario Smith will not play today, as we understand, and Ryan Shaw getting a chance to come out on the little option play. You take a look right out here. Jason Fife is going to come right down the line, and this man right here in the seam, right near the hash mark, is going to be the guy to see the action right here. He's going to be the option, guys. Greg Carruthers has to make a decision. Do I get the quarterback or do I go after the tailback?
Fights a throw, looking big, double coverage. Touchdown, Oregon! Jason Willis with his second touchdown in as many weeks. Through double coverage, and the Ducks are on the board again.
You talk about an accurate throw. Everybody's talking about Joey Harrington, this and that, and comparing him, but Jason Fife that time delivered that football perfectly.
Jason Fife is having a coming out party.
Double coverage, look at the help. Nate Robinson coming over to help out. The pass just beyond the arms of both Husky defenders. What a throw, Dave.
A 98-yard drive for the Oregon Ducks. And the Autzen Stadium crowd is loving it. A 14-0 lead for Oregon as they take the opening 2 drives, and Jason Fife is leading the way. The Duck fans are quacking loud right now as the 23rd ranked Oregon Ducks lead the Washington Huskies 14-0 with some big time statement plays and a 98-yard drive. How about Jason Willis, a senior, first touchdown of his whole career despite catching 43 passes last year, last week against Washington State, and now he answers it on that big play with his second one. Short kick. Nate Robinson will take it at the 20, trying to reverse field with very little room, but jitterbugs all the way up to the 33.
You know what I like about this, David? No penalty. They're going to start outside the 30-yard line.
Jason Fife, 7 of 9 so far, 139 yards, and this was beautiful.
Well, you look at the coverage, you can see it real well. Nate Robinson breaking back on the ball to help out Derek Johnson. I think he just loses sight of the ball as he turned around and allowing Willis to reel it in. Certainly he didn't lose sight of it. That was a nice pass from Jason Fife.
And the junior from Lake Elsinore, California is really having a special day in the biggest game of his career. Cody Pickett looking to throw, and Reggie Williams is on the receiving end of it. And a little pushing and shoving, and Reggie's ready to go early.
Well, they've got 3 guys over there. He was obviously, his momentum had stopped. Whether they had blown the whistle quick enough, I'm sure Reggie doesn't think so.
Number 1 pass offense for the University of Washington, the 10th best pass defense for Oregon. In fact, only Cal in the Pac-10 has allowed more yards per game than Oregon's defense. And the Huskies find themselves trailing 14-0. It'll be tough to try to establish any type of running game today. Reggie Williams again for the completion from Cody Pickett.
Well, sometimes you just got to, when you need to regroup, you got to go to your number 1 guy, and that's why he's wearing that on his jersey. Find him and get it going, especially against this Oregon defense, as we talked about. And, you know, look at that, receiving yards per game, almost 100. That's unbelievable.
Reggie Williams is now over 2,000 yards in his career.
Well, now you have him in the slot position, as we pointed out in the pregame.
5 wide. Paul Arnold comes from the slot on the other side to make the catch.
Well, now the Huskies have some room to open up the playbook a little bit. You know, they hate to start on that opening kickoff that they received after the Ducks with a big penalty, moved them back near their own 10, made it tough. But it set up Derek McLaughlin's punt. But look at Paul Arnold right there. Talk about seniors starting. Be nice for this senior to have a big game in his last game down here at Autzen Stadium.
Last year or 2 years ago when the Huskies were here, noise was such a tremendous issue. And you see them talking right there.
Communication's the key, everybody on the same page.
Cody to throw. Flush, flag is down. Wilbur Hooks could not get both feet down, so it's incomplete. Hooks trying to do his best tennis court, clay court. There's the ball mark, but you're doing the, but the holding penalty on Washington will make none of it matter anyway. Let's wait till we get the official word.
Illegal use of hands, offense. Hands to the face, 10 yards, previous spot. Repeat, first down.
Well, there's that penalty that makes it so tough. Another thing that's made it tough on Rick Neuheisel and his coaching staff, Sonny, is they've only had the football 16 possessions in Pac-10 play this year with the lead. They've never had the ball against USC, Arizona State, or UCLA with the lead. It wasn't until the second quarter against Oregon State that they had the ball with the lead. It had been 46 straight possessions. It's hard to play and coach from behind.
Well, I think the Huskies should stretch the field, get a little vertical here early, and send the guy downfield. They've got 2 safeties in the middle, however, does Oregon.
Nata again. And the freshman from Salt Lake City, Utah, throws Cody Pickett to the ground and forces an off-balance throw.
They're going to have to get at least a couple people chipping on Nata, otherwise he's going to have a big day. And right there, just a little, looked like a little swim move, so to speak, and getting his way around the Husky lineman. And boy, look at that guy. He is huge.
The rain is really beginning to fall now at Autzen Stadium. It was expected. You could see it roll in, as home field advantage seems to do. Oregon got a drive without it, but I think every drive for the rest of the day is going to be rain. Draw play. Alexis very deep in the backfield and never gets anywhere. And who's in the middle of it again but number 93, and then Igor Oleshansky. Oleshansky out of the Ukraine, and then grew up in San Francisco, California. Those 2 big guys in the middle raise havoc.
Well, they do, and I thought right there, Rich Alexis chose the wrong direction. Looked like he should have gone, well, easier to call from up here. I'm not on the field, but obviously, look at that. Igor Oleshansky, a sophomore, and Nata, a freshman.
And to think of some of the guys USC has on the front line, are young as well. Third down and 24. Pat Reddick, the first down maker, just a yard or two short.
Well, he has been there all season, David. We've called his name many times on 3rd and long, and Pat Reddick again doesn't disappoint the Dog fans and found an open seam right down the middle between the safeties.
You roll the dice early here, 4th and probably 2 at the 41-yard line of Oregon. Look at Reddick on that catch.
Oh yeah, nice throw. Right down the middle, inside Stephen Moore, the cornerback.
The senior from Newbury Park having his breakout year this year. And Pat Reddick, they are going to go for it.
Sorry, David, I had to take off my headset just to see how loud it is, and it's extremely loud here in Austin.
Option. Alexis has the toss behind him, gets to the 35, the 30, just before the 30-yard line. That's a first down, and Alexis gets hit and pushed hard into the net in the stand and is a little slow getting up. That's the kicking net that Alexis got pushed into. There is no flag. It was before he went out of bounds. But Rich Alexis slow to get up, and Braxton Clement will probably get the next set of carries.
Well, that's unfortunate after a nice first down play. Option right here. Played pretty well initially by Oregon, but Rich Alexis, just too much steam going out there and got caught in the old fishnet.
Kevin Ware over the middle and a nice tackle by Kevin Mitchell, the second man on the Oregon Ducks in tackles. And Ware with his 39th reception of the season.
Well, the Huskies are mixing it up on a pretty decent drive right now. Going to their tight end, Kevin Ware, ranks 9th among the UW tight ends, and we Husky fans know how many tight ends have come out of that school.
That was a big option play, first down on 4th down. Neuheisel may be able to get the Dogs rolling again, and we'll look back at that state. That play is a big one. Here's Braxton Clement with the carry to the 20. And the Huskies get into the red zone, making some progress in their second drive of the day.
Well, Braxton Clement, hopefully Rich Alexis isn't hurt serious enough that he can't get back in, but in fact, here he is coming back in right now, David. Time of possession is key in this game, and especially as you mentioned earlier, Dave, about the weather. You know, the Huskies need to get on the board on this drive and touchdown, not a field goal.
3rd down and 1, another big conversion. Pickett will sneak straight up the middle and get the first down.
First down, Huskies.
Rick Neuheisel understands the importance of this rivalry, and he has been into it all week. He's one of the great motivators in college football, and he had it ripping in the hotel.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he understands the Oregon Duck team and the rivalry, whether he's been at Washington or even at Colorado. He knows how tough it is to play against the Ducks, although he has a winning percentage against the Ducks.
Pickett to throw. Kevin Ware over the middle. Check it. Braxton Clement coming out of the backfield to the 5-yard line.
That's a nice play to get your running back checked. Nobody's blitzing. He can just roll out of the backfield and make the grab. Cody Pickett just looking downfield, let everything clear out, and then force the safeties to come up and make a play with the running back.
Ball at the 10-yard line or 5-yard line, 1st and goal. Kevin Ware, the tight end, is on the left side of the line. They'll go to Alexis. He's at the 5, 6 for the Dogs. Rich Alexis puts the Dogs on the board, and they're barking again.
See the Husky faithful there up there. They're right there, Rich Alexis. Let's watch the blocking up front. That's the key. Nick Newton right there on the linebacker, but not to be held out of that end zone. I tell you, that's a nice job by that offensive line of the Huskies to power it down for the score.
A 12-play, 67-yard drive off the nice kickoff return from Nate Robinson, and the Huskies on a big 3rd and 1, big 4th down conversions, and John Anderson's kick makes the Oregon lead cut in half. The Oregon Ducks lead 14-7 the Washington Huskies. And their first touchdown of the day behind Rich Alexis. And there you see a big change as the kickoff. Alexis on special teams. The Huskies have made a big adjustment recently playing the big boys, but Anderson's kick goes out of bounds. That will mean that the Oregon Ducks start with nice field position. You can see the rain on the screen in front of Jason Fife. It is really beginning to fall. The ponchos are out all around the stadium, and it's going to be a large impact. And a flag before the whistles, before the play even starts. That almost always, and actually has to be, illegal procedure, and that'll push the Ducks back to 1st and 15.
Well, the Ducks traveled, 98 yards on the last score.
Prior to the play, dead ball foul, false start. Offense, penalties 5 yards, remains first down.
Oregon's opening drive, Sonny, 10 plays, 80 yards, 7 plays, 98. What are the adjustments that have to be made by the Huskies to Mike Pilotti's offensive scheme right now?
Well, one thing they've got to do is try and get to the quarterback. You got to put some pressure on him on those little play action passes and those short rolls. Start getting a few helmets on Jason Fife. And I tell you, he's been right on. He's right now 7 for 9 in the throwing department.
Option play. Fife to keep it. And a nice play by Jafar Williams to come up and make the stop. That's the first adjustment. They got beat on that earlier.
Yes, they did, and that's a nice job by Jason Fife. You really have to make sure everyone's covered. If he's going to come out on that option play, make sure there's a man on the quarterback and a man on the pitch man, and force the quarterback to keep the football. Good job to see his teammates right there. It's a nice job, Jafar Williams, the 5th-year senior. Look at that, 3 forced fumbles this year. That's darn good.
Oregon's offense leads the Pac-10 at 36-point game scoring. Pass to Reitster. Incomplete.
Reitster likes to go right down the seam, David. Wright splits the defense. That time Marquise Cooper was able to get back just enough in coverage to knock that ball down. Boy, that guy moves well for big tight ends. Much like Kevin Ware.
And Marquise Cooper's got the speed in the other end. They may have to try to match those two guys up speed-wise a little bit today.
Yeah, if you read pass, try and get an eyeball and see where that tight end's heading. That time Marquise Cooper was able to come up with it.
3rd and 11. Blitz coming up the middle. Madavi gets Fife. Linebackers blitz straight up the middle and collapse the pocket.
As I said, get to the quarterback, try and get some pressure on him. That time they're able to do it. Ben Madavi benefits from, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on the rush. Got every avenue covered right there. And Ben Madavi just turns around, sees green, and throws it to the ground.
Ben Madavi's 2nd sack of the year, and he wraps up the first quarter with the Huskies having regained the momentum. Rain-soaked Autzen Stadium. The Oregon Ducks scoring on their opening 2 drives, but the Washington Huskies answered in their final drive of the first quarter, and their defense has just put it to a stop. It's 14-7. Arroyo into punt for the first time. Frederick will take it at the 32 and gets out to the 38-yard line, where Cody Pickett will get to start the next drive for the Washington Huskies with a bit of room.
Bit of room, just like the last time. And when you have room and you're beyond your own 30 out near midfield, you got a whole slew of different plays to run, David, than starting the game and being at your own 10 or 11-yard line where you don't want to make a mistake.
As well as dramatically different to play from 1 touchdown behind to 2. Pickett so far today, 6 of 7 for 64 yards. And as we mentioned, Oregon last in the Pac-10 in pass defense. Alexis is the running back. And he'll get the carry going around left. That's the sidestepper man. And finally forced out of bounds for a pickup of maybe 3 yards. Stephen Moore, the junior from Los Angeles, with the tackle.
Well, Rich Alexis on the last play got thrown in the fishnets. This time he does a nice job of getting outside, but let's see what happens when he gets to the sideline, David. Pursuit coming up, and you see it right there. He doesn't sling him around. He's just trying to hang on, making sure that he doesn't get hurt. It looked a lot worse than it actually was.
Alexis now with 7 carries for 18 yards. So Cody sidesteps the blitz toward Reggie Williams, knocked away. That's the freshman Binns on the coverage. Cody thought he had something. Binns, who just Jason Gesser and Washington State went at all day last week.
Well, a lot of young freshman defensive backs have had to mature sooner than they'd like to. And right here, Cody Pickett does a nice job of getting away from the linebacker. But look at the ball, it just kind of hangs up there a little too long. Well, your speedsters, Dave, you want to give them some room to run to the ball, and that time, unfortunately, Binns was able to make a play.
3rd and 7, raining very hard. What does that do to you as a quarterback?
Well, these are leather balls, and they have a lot of them out there. Not so much early in the ball game, but we might have to look at that in the 4th quarter.
Cody with time. Reggie Williams can't bring it in. They'll make it 4th and 7.
Well, when you're 6'4", a little bit taller than that, to have to go down that low for the receptions, awful tough when you're running with a lot of speed. Let's see if we can get a good look. He throws it down low. Catchable ball. Reggie Williams, as good as he is, this needs to haul those ends for first downs.
Steve Axman and Rick Neuheisel spending some time with Cody Pickett as he comes off. And Thunderfoot back to punt. And this one is not thunderous. Goes out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And Derek McLaughlin goes straight over to talk to Ben Madavi, the snapper.
Yeah. See Derek McLaughlin. Let's see where the snap is here, David. Little low, throws his timing off. He looks up. See where he looks up to see where the rush is coming. Forces him to really kind of get that kickoff quicker than he wanted to, obviously, but Huskies certainly didn't need a short punt like that after being stopped.
A 27-second drive for the Huskies.
Yeah.
Jason Fife, who's been just outstanding, brings the Ducks back out. Howery in motion. And they'll run it again. Without Ontario Smith, they turn to Ryan Shaw. Terrence Whitehead and Ryan Shaw getting most of the carries.
Houdini Jackson did a nice job up the middle to disrupt that play, and Houdini's been getting some playing time here of late as well, David. And you look at right there with the total yards, obviously those big pass plays in that 98-yard drive by the Ducks, and scoring drive with a beautiful pass from Fife.
High formation, play action, nice pressure. Fife keeps it alive and can't find Howery inside some strong Husky coverage.
Again, who did we just talk about? Houdini Jackson using his quickness. On the last play, he disrupts a running play. This time he gets in the backfield and throws off Jason Fife. You'll see him come from this side right here. There he is, 51. If he's not being held, just enough pressure. Coaches have seen something in Houdini Jackson to get him in the ball game, David, and 2 plays in a row now he's performed.
It's nice for a senior to get these late opportunities.
Hey, Willis for the Ducks scoring the touchdown, and Jackson getting some pressure on the Oregon quarterback.
Another big 3rd and 9. Can the Husky defense answer a 3-and-out with a 3-and-out? Blitz coming. Fife in trouble and just suffocated behind the line of scrimmage.
Boy, you talk about a push. Look at that. You got 1, 2, 3 again.
And these teams don't get along very well, Sonny. We got a big one going. Lobendine and Houdini Jackson in the middle of it. Now actually on the outskirts of it. You can see everybody in the midst there as the blitz came up on Fife.
Yeah, look at that. Just everyone in there. Again, Houdini Jackson, Jafar Williams, Josh Miller. And I don't know what the Oregon lineman was doing, just trying to squeeze the pile down.
What an adjustment from Tim Hundley and the defensive crew the last 2 drives. minus 12 yards, and right now they're trying to quell down what has taken place between these teams.
Well, I was just going to say while you're expounding on that the referee is in there. Okay, guys, let's settle it down in here. Let's don't have any cheap shots. Let's play ball. Of course, there was such a mass of humanity. Who knows what was going on inside that last pile?
Does he have to talk to Bellotti and Neuheisel about no love lost too? Arroyo with time to kick. Frederick will fair catch and take it at the 15-yard line. That's where Cody Pickett and the Washington Huskies will get a reprieve from their defense. The rain still coming down at Autzen Stadium, where the Ducks lead 14-7. 14-7, the Oregon Ducks lead it. David Locke along with Sonny Sixskillet. Washington and Oregon, a rivalry that's tough to parallel anywhere on the West Coast. Ducks led it 14-0. Washington now back within 7, working out of their own end zone. And they'll try to get the running game going with Rich Alexis. He keeps the legs churning all the way out to the 20.
Well, that's tough, 5 yards. Strong running from Rich Alexis. Looks healthy, David. We've seen him run a little tentatively earlier in the year and mid-season, but he's got it going right now.
The middle linebacker of the Oregon Ducks is the one trying to hold this game down, and Elliot Zajac did a nice job of getting out on him.
Well, Moretti is only about 230 pounds, 6'1", and you see Zajac up there around 300, so he had the advantage.
Reggie Williams. First down, Washington. Right back to where we opened the broadcast. Ways to get Reggie Williams the ball.
That's exactly right, and Webster has to get over there and help out because he's a big man, Reggie Williams. You can't have him one-on-one out there. You better get some people to help you out. Receiving yards a game, 11 in the NC2AA.
Well, you think about how great Reggie Williams was last year with 55 catches. He already has 66 this year with another game to play.
Wow. Well, find a way to get him the ball.
They'll go with a double tight end set this time. Williams is up top. And all sorts of movement. We'll let the striped shirts decide who was at fault.
I think it was 40 there. Darrell Wright got to jump. Let's see.
Dead ball, offsides, defense. Penalties 5 yards, remains first down.
It was, in fact, on the senior playing his final game here at Autzen Stadium.
Well, that tells you that Cody Pickett's doing a smart thing. He's changing the snap count up down there on the field, David, and that's good. It's going to keep these guys, the Oregon front, from getting a real jump on the rush.
1st and 5. Run to Alexis with some room. Bowls his way out to the 47-yard line.
Well, the Huskies are doing a nice job on this drive of running the football. On the last scoring drive, they had some nice draw runs as well and an option to Rich Alexis. This one, straight lead up the middle. See Khalif Barnes looking for someone to hit, and Reggie Williams as well, but boy, Rich Alexis looked powerful on that run, David.
And Webster earned that tackle.
Yes, whether he wanted it or not, he was going to get it.
He might have to take the gold off his uniform. Alexis again. And this time, Nata able to force into the line and get into the backfield a little bit to break up his path.
Well, I think Rich Alexis ran into the backside of Nata, which we saw earlier is quite large. And Rich Alexis may have dinged up his leg a little bit there.
Little tweak, heads out. So he had 10 carries. Braxton Clement is the running back in the ball game. Double tight end set again. Reggie Williams in the slot as Clement goes in motion. Williams with the reception. And we'll leave the Huskies with about a 3rd and 5.
Short route, we saw that early on. Put him in the slot, bring him across the field. Try to clear it out a little bit. Let him catch it short, catch and run with the ball. That time the Ducks did a nice job of knowing where he was and made the play on him.
Reggie Williams has passed into the 2nd best yardage total ever for a Husky in single season. 3rd and 5. Huskies 1 of 4 on 3rd down. Looking for Reggie Williams. Still biding time, could probably run for the first down, but instead throws to Williams as a flag comes down on the play.
Let's see what he calls here. I thought there was an Oregon defender grabbing Reggie Williams' jersey as he tried to run back to the inside.
You are exactly right, Sir Six Killer.
Yeah, he bought enough time, and the receiver did a nice thing. Reggie Williams that time going to an open area, but as he was going to the open area, the Duck defender just grabbed him by the jersey.
Holding, defense, penalties decline. First down.
I saw Cody Pickett yelling at the sideline official. Right here, you may be able to see it right over in here. Right, let's see the hand. It was just before that as he broke to the inside. Little too much jersey, but nice job by Reggie Williams to find an open area.
Awesome job. That's the sign of the developing great receiver that he is, instead of just the pure talent wide receiver out of Lakes High School.
Well, he doesn't just stretch the field vertically, he does everything between.
Blitz coming, they'll run a draw up the middle to Clemens. Oregon had brought the house. They had brought 8 guys. Clemens couldn't get through the line of scrimmage as Igor Olshansky makes the tackle.
Is it Igor or Igor? I couldn't get that one straight, but I'll tell you what, Olshansky is a horse. Both those guys, I'm just real impressed with their down linemen. Those 2 interior people are just monsters, and give credit to the offensive line of the Huskies on that last drive and on this drive.
2nd and 9 is the Huskies' 8th play of their drive. Ware in motion. Blitz again. Complete to Wilbur Hooks. And it'll be another 3rd down conversion on the line.
Well, I know Will Hooks wanted to make sure he grabbed that ball, but he, in my opinion, had an opportunity to catch the ball and then turn and make additional yardage. Looked to me like he tried to cradle it just enough.
So it'll be 3rd down and 3.
Well, the last time they had a 4th and 2, they went with the option. Obviously now with a single setback, double tights.
Nata, the big defensive player for Oregon, is to the left of center. They run away from him. Braxton Clemens cannot get to the outside as Webster knocks him out. May have been short of the first down.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and about 1.5 yards or a yard.
Well, they rolled it once today. Do you roll the die again?
Why not?
Tuiasa Sopo looks like he's coming in. They're going to the power set.
Double tights, power. You know, you used to always say you should be able to pick up a yard, and this is where they've got to prove it now. Brent Myers, the offensive line coach, has been working with his offensive line extremely hard and just need to stay low and get a solid push.
They need to get to the 25, so it's a full yard. Option, Pickett on his own. First down, Washington.
Well, you talk about a nice decision right there. Cody Pickett taking a little bit from Tuiasa Sopo from 2 years ago, recognizing that there's too many people to the outside over here in defense of the running back. And that time he does a smart thing and just cuts it upfield for the first down.
Zach Tuiasa Sopo with a good block.
Boy, Oregon had that play well defended except for that one little seam, and he was able to get there before Olshansky knocked him down.
Keeping the drive alive. Currently a 10-play, 62-yard drive. It's taken over 5 minutes.
Look at the rushing yards, David. Not a lot, but they're still in the lead at 48 yards.
Williams in the slot. They'll go to him. Reggie at the 10. 6 for the Dogs. The Washington Huskies have bounced back at Autzen Stadium.
Well, we said that they were going to put Reggie on the outside. They're going to put him in the slot. And right there you see number 1, Reggie Williams. Where's the defensive back? Somebody blew coverage, obviously. And I don't know how you can not find number 1 who sticks out like a sore thumb on that offensive set.
9th touchdown of the year for Reggie Williams after only 3 his freshman season. and his 6th reception of the game. And we're all tied up. Well, the Washington Huskies found themselves reeling early after the Oregon Ducks came out with 2 incredibly impressive offensive drives. But the young dogs, showing a lot of heart and resolve, have fired back, and the rivalry's going in full form now. The Washington Huskies have tied it up against the 23rd ranked Oregon Ducks, 14-14. The fans are now just ready to rip, Sonny.
Well, I think they've been ready since the get-go, and you see that scoring drive right there with 11 plays, 85 yards, but 5:24 on the clock.
5 catches for 49 yards, and on that drive, Reggie Williams moved past Jerome Pathon to number 2 in the Huskies in a single season. He's only the 3rd Husky ever with 2,000 yards receiving in a career, and he's a sophomore. And by the time the day is over, pending an amazing change, he will continue to walk that ladder. John Anderson's kick, taken at the 5. And brought down at the 24-yard line. For the last 2 drives, the Oregon Ducks, 6 plays, negative 12 yards. Looking for a screen, and it's incomplete as Whitehead could never get out as Kai Ellis brought him to the ground.
I thought Kai Ellis was going to make a play on the ball. He read that the whole way. Oregon with success in the first quarter running the screen. Watch Kai Ellis right there. Recognizes it very early, and very lucky that the Oregon Ducks didn't get that one picked off.
The senior, JC transfer.
The creature.
Blitz coming from the outside, leaves an open Willis. Front of the zone, and able to get some good yards after the catch, out to the 32, 33-yard line for it'll be close to a first down for Oregon.
Jason Willis having a pretty good day for himself, the senior, coming into this ball game in his last home game.
Came in having caught the ball just 23 times this year after catching it 43 times last year.
Big average per catch as well for Willis.
Power set, 3rd and very little. Maybe at 2 inches. And a whistle and a flag. And if that is on Oregon, that is 1, pretty uncharacteristic, and 2, a real drive killer.
Dead ball, false start, offense, penalties 5 yards, remains 3rd down.
That has got to drive Mike Bellotti crazy.
Well, any coach in a short yardage situation, make sure you're set. Make sure you have all the men you need to have on the line of scrimmage to make you have a chance for success. And, you know, Bellotti doesn't change his demeanor very much on the sideline. Great play, bad play, he's pretty much status quo.
Rain continues to fall as Fife throws. Knocked away. Lobendine there, but he's there too much as the flag comes down. He may have hit Reister before the pass got there. That'll be a first down for the Ducks.
Yeah, pretty sure.
In fact, that is the call.
That's unfortunate. He's in great position. Let's see where he is. There he is, 53 off to the right. Reister just pushing him off, getting his body, much like you do in basketball, David, when you're trying to screen out the opponent, and he did a nice job that time. Certainly had the height and size over Joseph Lobendine.
Joe, the sophomore from Honolulu, Hawaii. Probably a name we'll hear just about every possession next year. So 1st and 10 for Oregon, pump faking, Fife with a lot of time, but he misses. Looking for Keenan Howry, and boy, Keenan Howry, senior year, has not been what he expected, despite becoming the all-time receiver for Oregon. Just 30 catches this year after 52 both of the last 2 years.
Well, people know where he is. He's just an explosive receiver throughout his career. The average 19.1, and the bottom stat there, 45 straight games with a catch.
He's one ahead of Kareem Kelly only because Kareem Kelly had a bye. Passing again, and incomplete for Sammy Parker. Is that a wet ball right there?
You know, it may be. That one looked like it just took off on him. And, you know, you got to see where they set the ball down for the center to snap it to his quarterback. And if it's sitting down on that wet field turf, if he gets it up on those fingers where he wants to try and grip the football, that'll happen.
Jason Fife just 1 for his last 7 since the second touchdown. That's since the field got wet. The junior from Lake Elsinore, California, wondering how much rain he's played in.
He's been up here long enough.
Able to sidestep Anthony Kelly. Now Kelly pursuing. And the pass behind Sammy Parker. And the Oregon drive comes to an end as Fife has hit just 1 of his last 8 passes now.
Well, the Ducks put the receivers downfield, but great coverage by the Husky defense that time. And
you know what's interesting about that? That drought they're having right there is usually a third quarter drought. Against USC, they had just 9 yards in the third quarter. Against Washington State, they only had 4 yards in the third quarter. Today, it's happened in the second quarter.
Well, give credit to the Husky defense making some plays on him.
Close to Arroyo.
And also getting some pressure on him, forcing him out of the pocket.
Charles Frederick takes it on the bounce, tries to become Houdini, but he can't. And just falls forward for a yard or 2. Well, the Washington Huskies have definitely gained the momentum largely because of their defense. Can the offense give them a chance to take the lead? We find out next. The wind blowing, the rain soaking the field, and beginning to have the feeling we've got a classic in the great rivalry between Washington and Oregon taking place. Knotted up at 14. Oregon had it going early.
Boy, Jason Fife was on fire, and right there to Sammy Parker, who had a big first quarter, and now he comes back to the unsung guy on this team. Willis with just an outstanding grab for a score, and the Huskies bounce back with Rich Alexis showing the way and getting into the end zone. And of course, who else? Reggie Williams, no one on him for some unknown reason, and he scores.
Cody Pickett back at the helm. Reggie Williams had 5 catches on the last drive. They go right back to him. And Williams still on his feet, finally dragged down after a pickup of 7. Pickett continues to work his way up the ladder, the Washington Husky and Pac-10 records. As today he is thrown for 127 yards. And he is just now 9 yards away from Ryan Leaf's single season passing record. Alexis will carry, and he gets through a little gap and gets the first down.
The offensive line is doing a great job, David, getting a push on the defensive line for the Ducks, and Rich Alexis is doing a wonderful job getting to the hole and getting that full speed right up into it for the yardage.
Huskies' opening drive was just 3 plays for 7 yards. But they have got it rolling since, scoring in 2 of their last 3. Pickett checking off. Now scrambling. And Reggie Williams comes back for his 8th reception.
Good job by him, Cody Pickett, to get to the outside. And let's watch the offensive line here. The Ducks have gone to a reserve role here. The starters are out right now. And look at those guys. They can't get anywhere, and Khalif Barnes still in position to help his quarterback out. Again, Reggie Williams finds an open spot, lets his quarterback find him, and they pick up some positive yardage.
2nd and 7. Williams with 8 catches for 76 yards. Huskies with their 17th pass of the day. And it's incomplete to Zach Tuiasosopo.
Trying to get it out to his fullback in the flat. A lot of bodies in there where Cody Pickett's trying to knife through and may have dinged his elbow on one of the shoulder pads of the offensive lineman. There wasn't a lot of room in there to throw the ball, and you see it kind of go low out to the flat.
Third and 7. A first down would give Cody Pickett the record for most yards passing in the history of a single season in the Pacific 10 Conference.
Well, let's see where the...
Over the head of Paul Arnold, incomplete.
Trying to get it out on a timing route to Paul Arnold on the sideline and just sails away on him. And that one, Cody Pickett had a little bit too much heat on it. Oregon does a nice job of being in position. Looked like it may have gone right through his hands.
Derek McLaughlin will come into punt. He's done such an outstanding job of pitting teams inside the 20 the last 2 weeks. Another bad snap, though. It'll get this punt off. Howry going to get it. And it goes out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Derek McLaughlin with a bounce back that just has got to make any fan in the world smile.
Well, you got to love it when they go to the coffin corner.
Going old school. Derek McLaughlin pins him at the 2. Oregon Ducks find themselves pinned at the 2-yard line for the second time today. Looking big right out of the chute. Derek Johnson on the coverage. Who's got the football? Derek Johnson with his 3rd interception in 2 weeks. And Jason Fife is now completed just one of his last 10 and one to each side in that span.
Well, Derek Johnson had gotten beat today for a touchdown pass. Fife with time to throw, but let's watch this coverage. He's down there right on him and just muscles the ball away from Keenan Howry. That is just great, picture-perfect defense right there, David.
Wow. That's why cornerbacks do weight training. So you got some strength.
I'll tell you, that's a great job by Derek Johnson against a very fine receiver.
Run to Alexis. Still on his feet. Just able to get about 2 or 3.
Not a lot of room in there when you got Kevin Mitchell, the linebacker, the little spark plug for Oregon, their #1 tackler, just shooting through the gap, and Rich Alexis not having very much room to operate. There you see 39, Kevin Mitchell.
Second on the team in tackles, just a junior, will return. Cody to throw, knocked down at the line.
Knocked down at the line by McEwen, but really he was throwing to a receiver that wasn't open downfield, so I think the Huskies benefited from that pass being knocked down. Again, it comes up with a 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 now for the Dogs.
Huskies 2 of 7 on 3rd downs.
Well, if they don't have to leave the tight end, Kevin Ware, in the block, should be a nice time to find him down the middle.
We'll keep an eye on that. Ware goes out on the pass. It goes to Frederick, complete. And Cody Pickett has set the Pac-10 record for single season passing yards with a first down reception to Charles Frederick. An unbelievable run for the kid from Idaho.
There's no doubt. Caldwell, Idaho, I'd be very proud of this young man, Cody Pickett, finding the open receiver, Charles Frederick, downfield. Favroth not able to stay with him. Just one-on-one on the outside. And Cody Pickett, 3,649 yards.
Not bad for a kid from Chicken Dinner Road.
Yep, not bad to overtake Ryan Leaf there as well.
Here's Alexis for a pickup of 2 or 3 more. And the Huskies have just a remarkable job today of play selection. They have now run the ball 18 times and thrown it 20.
That's balance. Huskies coming in. We're looking to have a tougher time running the ball against this Oregon defense and hoping to throw the ball a ton, but they're nice balances. That's a great job by the staff and Rick Neuheisel and Keith Gilbertson and all the offensive coaches so far in this ball game. They're working up to perfection.
Cody pump fakes for Frederick, intercepted in the end zone.
They're going to give it out to about the 1 yard line.
And that's the trash talking Keith Lewis.
Well, not Cody Pickett's best pass on that. It was an out and up, stop and go kind of route on the top. And we'll see Keith Lewis right there, the pump fake. Threw it a little flat-footed and the ball sails back to the inside on him. You want to keep that ball to the outside shoulder. I don't know how many times I have to say that with quarterbacks, but that time Keith Lewis quietly makes the interception.
He wasn't quiet coming into this.
I know.
Called Cody Pickett and the Washington Huskies overrated in a conversation on KJR in Seattle.
Well, one official said he had possession at about the 2, but the other one overrode him, and it comes out to the 20 on the touchback.
Well, that's a big swing. The Huskies had really calmed down. We're in complete control, and now tied at 14. Jason Fife, just one of his last 10, will have another shot before the half is over. They'll go back to the running game. This is the freshman Shaw. And Evan Benjamin pushes him out of bounds as the running game that has been absent so far from Oregon, with only 11 carries, 33 yards because of Ontario Smith not being around. They have seemingly turned over to the inexperienced Ryan Shaw.
Well, inexperience to inexperience, really, if you're looking at freshman running backs. You got
Whitehead's, yeah, they have Amundsen around as the senior, but he's never really developed in the running back they wanted. Fife is going to run. He's got a lot of room. Nate Robinson able to close out on him and forces him out at the 35 as the clock works its way under 3 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, nice job by Fife to avoid the rush. No one open again downfield, which you got to credit the defensive backs for the Huskies that have just come on the last few weeks and playing really tough against the pass.
Nate Robinson's insertion into the starting lineup due to the injury to Rock Alexander may have added a little something to this club.
Well, and Derek Johnson's gotten stronger. It's right now the safeties are probably the most banged up, but they're playing well.
Here comes Shaw again. And Shaw actually referred to him as a freshman. He's actually just a redshirt sophomore out of Carlsbad, California. Carruthers in on the tackle.
Good job of keeping the running back in bounds as well before the half here. And Greg Carruthers had to battle some injuries himself. Groin injury. Looks like he's back to almost 100%. Nice to have that experience back there at the safety position.
Clock rolling under 2:20. Oregon with a great field goal kicker in Jared Siegel, so they don't need to go all the way. Fife with a completion to Parker and wrapped up immediately by Carruthers.
Nice close that time. Greg Carruthers out in coverage. Deep comes up when the pass is thrown to the flat. Just really close, nice, and able to make the tackle before Parker could really get it going. Long throw. Another reason why Greg Carruthers was able to get there. That ball was in the air for a long time. Well, Keith, third down play here, David, with just over 2 minutes to go in the half.
Get a stop, you give your offense enough time to try to get it rolling again. Howry in motion. Fife with a flip to Howry, deep behind the line, and a superb tackle coming in is Owen Biddle.
I'll tell you, Owen Biddle will rattle your cage. I've seen it, and that young man getting the start today with the injuries, but that time really coming up nice. That play didn't have any chance for success from the get-go.
And clock rolls under 150. But look at that tackle. Carruthers deserves some credit as well. He did a super job the whole drive with the junior from Bellevue, Washington. He's just kind of one of those guys that hangs around, keeps making plays when he gets a chance. Arroyo's punt will bounce and picked up by Frederick at the 20. And I guess he ruled for a fair catch before. At least that's what the official says. With 1:29 left, the Huskies will have the final shot to put some points on the board. 1:29 left, tied at 14 here in the first half. The Washington Huskies with their full allotment of timeouts. And Oregon with the 10th ranked pass defense in the Pac-10. A draw play, and Igor, whatever it is, there's a lot of gore making the tackle.
Yeah, Igor Olshansky there going against Elliot Zajac. Not only got the weight, but he's got the height to go with it.
And the clock continues to roll, so the Huskies have obviously decided when they didn't take the timeout after the great tackle by Owen Biddle and running the play there, that in the rainy weather, on the road, having been down 14-0, that they are perfectly pleased to go into the tunnel at Autzen Stadium, knotted up, having scored 14 straight.
That is correct, and you're on the road. That's the key.
Alexis will try to get to the outside. He stays on his feet. He's got some room. And he gets pushed out of bounds with a pickup of about 11 with 40 seconds left in the half.
That might be the niftiest run I've seen this season from Rich Alexis. Going down the sidelines, getting to the outside, showing his speed, number one. But to watch him tiptoe down the sideline once he gets out in the flat. Nice little move. The old limp leg move. You see where his foot may have gone out of bounds, but they didn't call it. But nice run.
And a very nice block by Khalif Barnes.
When you get away with those, David, it's okay.
He just was checking out the texture of the nice Oregon uniform. Cody's going big. Intercepted at the 20. Stephen Moore with his his first interception, 5th of the season. And Cody has interceptions on back-to-back tries, but that one's just airing it out, looking for something to happen.
That was a nice play right there by Stephen Moore. 5 interceptions this season. Having a pretty good year out there, the junior. Watch the flight of this ball, and let's see where Paul Arnold is on this play. Overshoots his receiver, and Paul Arnold not able to get back to the play defensive back and knock it to the ground. Now let's see what Oregon attempts to do with 31 seconds to go in the half.
Tip of the hat to the cameraman on that one.
Boy, that was a great shot. They said they were going to make us look good today. That was a great shot.
It's a heck of a task. Sorry, I'll speak for myself. And Oregon looks to run it out as well. A nice play behind the line of scrimmage by Manas Hopoi. Hopoi, who makes his 10th tackle for a loss this year. Actually 10.5 now. And that will wrap up a first half where Oregon had this one in control. The Dogs were on the ropes, and it looked like it was going to be a whitewash in a rainstorm. And the Huskies have bounced back.
Oh, there's no question. Cody Pickett ended up with 2 interceptions, but in between that and the Duck onslaught, the Huskies rebounded extremely well on the road.
Now, Rick Neuheisel has to be pleased. Mike Bellotti may be a little bit concerned, as Cody Pickett in the first half became the single-season Pac-10 leader. Now he wants a victory at Autzen Stadium. We're tied at 14 at halftime at Autzen Stadium, 2 Northwest rivals, and you can begin to get a feel that this one is going to be awfully special, at least high with tension. Yeah. Hi, David Locke along with Sonny Sixkiller as we get ready for the second half. And when we opened the broadcast today, we talked about the Husky defense, that there was going to be a lot of pressure on the D again today, and it didn't start so well for them.
No, it did not. Jason Fife got off to a fast start. This time finding Sammy Parker for the touchdown against Nate Robinson, one-on-one. And then he comes back right here, finds Mr. Willis right here over the 2 defenders for the touchdown. And again, he thinks he's going to get another one deep to Keenan Howery, but Derek Johnson says no thank you, steps in for a great interception down the sideline.
And the Washington Huskies then turn the corner offensively.
Offensive line did a good job on the entire drive, and it was runs like that. Rich Alexis getting in for the score and getting 7 on the board. And then Reggie Williams, David, nobody on him. Easy touchdown to number 1, Reggie Williams.
We've seen double coverage, we've seen bracket coverage. We saw no coverage there for the first time this season. Let's take a look at the halftime stats.
Well, you look at this, look at the yardage. We talked about balance by the Huskies. looking for that for the first time this year, and both teams actually balanced run and pass. Time of possession going to the Dogs. 2 turnovers, not real critical. They wish they had had that one from Nate Robinson. Maybe he'll make it up in the second half.
And we get ready for the second half. I have a feeling this one might be a game that this little kid talks about being at. This has got a feel of something that's going to go all 60 minutes worth of outstanding football. And the Huskies will get the football as we open up the second half. And it'll be fascinating to see what Bellotti and Neuheisel do in their adjustments. Kicks deep and it's coming out. Still on his feet, Nate Robinson to the 24-yard line. Well, Cody Pickett, we knew coming in with the #1 passing offense against the #10 passing defense, was going to have to get some things done today. Let's see where he's distributed the football.
Well, you look at that right there, you can tell he really likes the left side and up the middle with 6 for 6 and 5 for 6. Cody Pickett is hitting every zone except for the deep right and deep left, which are those usually the go routes, and he's unsuccessful on those this afternoon.
Cody has 2 interceptions today, but one of them was close out the half. The other was in the end zone. They'll start the running game, which was somewhat successful in the first half, and Alexis will get nothing. The play selection in the first half, 20 runs to 22 passes, and Jason Fife's numbers, 9 of 18, a bit misleading because he started so well, 7 of his first 8, and then just 2 of his final 10, maybe even just, yes, 2 of his final 10. So he did not get the rhythm going late in the second quarter, where Cody Pickett did the opposite. Reggie Williams again, incomplete, and going right at the freshman cornerback, Marquise Benz.
I just get the feeling that Marquise Benz, the freshman, as you said, is that's an out route. They run another in route. They run an out route. Next thing you know, it's going to be the pump and go. I just get a feeling that Reggie's getting ready to do a play action, or at least a pump and go deep.
Well, Benz had a long Saturday. Jason Gesser and Mike Bush and Darling and the whole crew went at him all day long. And Reggie Williams passes Jerome Pathon on the University of Washington all-time list for that reception. Reggie doubled this time, so Cody looks elsewhere to Pat Reddick. And it's complete, and Reddick has got himself a first down with a little high hurdling.
That was a nice move. Marcus Benz comes over to make the tackle, coming off Reggie Williams out there in coverage. But Pat Reddick has found some room down the middle. But look at that lane to throw the football. Cody Pickett could sit there all day and look for multiple receivers with that kind of protection.
And the bounce back up by Pat Reddick. The crowd has not caused the Huskies the problems it did 2 years ago at Autzen Stadium, where they couldn't make their calls. They run right into David Moretti. The senior from Pleasanton, California, was in the playbook of the Washington Huskies.
Yeah, Moretti was back there like he broke out of the Husky huddle. David Moretti, the senior linebacker, see the tackles, 4th in the Pac-10 with 84. Go along with 4.5 sacks. Very active young man. Like I'd mentioned earlier in the game, he's not real big, 6'1", 235, but he's very active.
He'll get a chance to play in the East-West Shrine game.
That's a nice honor.
Coached by Mike Price. 2nd and 9. Option, got some room. Cody will keep it and gets out to about the 46-yard line.
Well, Cody Pickett looked out there and saw Rasuli Webster. See it right here. Let's see if he should throw that ball out there. Looked to me like one more fake to the inside and pitch it outside to Rich Alexis. He would have had a big gainer on that play.
Huskies 3rd and 6, 3 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Reggie Williams goes to the far side, guarded by Benz. No safety help on that side. Blitz, throw to Williams. Benz with a nice tackle prevents him from getting the first down.
Boy, David, I don't know about you, but I really don't understand that kind of route with you've got Reggie Williams on a 3rd and 6, and he goes and goes 3rd and 4. Right there, if he's going to come back to the ball, he's going to have to drive off the defender beyond the first down marker and come back to the marker and be closer.
Furthermore, he has 5 inches on bins. That's something that Washington State did. They just ran the fade routes and figured their guy was taller. But Derek McLaughlin will come into punt. He coffin cornered one earlier. He's shooting for another here. Howry will fair catch. It's at the 10. Derek McLaughlin is having his 2nd straight fantastic day for the Washington Huskies. And now Jason Fife will have to try to recollect himself. What looked like his coming out party in the biggest game of his college career. And you can see where he distributed the ball, most of these early on the completion end of things.
Yeah, and a lot of those you see that are right there, 4 for 7, 36 yards to the outside. Couple screens in there, and of course 55 yards down the deep middle, and one on that touchdown pass to Willis. But you know, the first quarter looked like he was going to be setting all kinds of records this afternoon, and in the second quarter went stone cold.
Fife had some good days earlier this year against USC. He threw for 336 yards. But again, the one book on Fife all year long has been when the running game's not going, he may not be able to carry the load. And what's interesting, you see number 11 right there. That is their backup quarterback, Kellen Clemens. And Jason Fife does not have a helmet on. And when I spent some time with Mike Bellotti this week, I asked him, is Jason Fife capable if you don't have a running game? He goes, you know what? I need him to step up and have a big game. I need him to get that job done, which was my way of thinking that he was saying maybe not. And Kellen Clemens, who has thrown just 6 balls all year, may be the next quarterback for your Oregon Ducks.
That's phenomenal when you look at the season that Jason Fife has been having. 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But you know that's not a bad move. Some days it goes away from you, you're just not on, and you can't afford to sit around against the Husky team coming into your house and continue with that for the whole game. So maybe it's not permanent. Maybe it's just for a series or 2, David, that he puts Clemens in the ball game.
Well, a long wait here for Kellen Clemens, but the redshirt freshman from Burns, Oregon. And the crowd cheers him as he comes out.
Well, he's a local boy and from the east of the mountains, and certainly the Oregon fans are appreciative that he's in the ball game.
He was the number 3 prep quarterback in the country, very highly recruited. He'll throws a nice arm, but Derek Johnson's got his 2nd interception of the day. Johnson goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line, and Kellen Clemens' first pass is intercepted. Derek Johnson with his 4th interception in 2 weeks.
What a great job by Derek Johnson to come off his receiver and give a little help. You're going to see it over here. Johnson's going to be way out here, come off his guy, and just read it perfectly, helping out Nate Robinson on his receiver, and picks it off much like last week, just kind of playing possum back there. Once the throw's made, he makes the break.
An enormous opportunity for the Washington Huskies.
Well, now we're going to see who Mike Bellotti brings out on the next series.
Mike Bellotti, anytime you pull a quarterback, you've got yourself in an interesting circumstance. Option, Pickett, toss to Alexis. 6 for the Dogs in the lead at Autzen Stadium. And the Husky crowd at Autzen Stadium loving it, and Rich Alexis, who's got a nose for the end zone, cashes in the pay dirt for the Dogs.
Boy, looked like the Rich Alexis of old on that play, David, catching the ball on the flip from Cody Pickett on the option, and just all cylinders going into the end zone. Webster can't do nothing about it. He was out there hung to dry, didn't know who to take, and he took nobody, and the Huskies scored.
20 unanswered points by the Washington Huskies, who trailed 14-0. John Anderson makes it 21-14, and the opening 4.5 minutes of the first half, a Oregon quarterback pulled an interception, and the Huskies take advantage. Rich Alexis, the touchdown maker. John Anderson's kickoff is high and out of bounds. Second time today that happens. And the Oregon Ducks will start themselves at the 35-yard line again with a little bit more breathing room. And Boy, the questions have to abound right now, Sonny, everywhere on some of the things that have taken place on the Oregon sideline. Why you pull a guy, Jason Fife, that's carried you so far this year, and then why with your back to the...
Kickoff out of bounds on the kicking team. Ball was released to the 35-yard line. First down.
And then why you put yourself in a situation where you're throwing with a redshirt freshman who's never played a down that was meaningful.
Well, you said it earlier, you know, he's number 3 rated. And certainly they believe in his passing skills, so he's back in the ball game. Mike Bellotti elects to stay with him and try to get him regrouped. Perhaps they should start with plays that made Jason Fife so successful in the first quarter. But the Huskies have been defending that screen pass extremely well and putting pressure on the quarterback.
The third quarter's been the nemesis of the Ducks all year long. Washington State and USC really hammered in this. Toss to Whitehead. He's got some room on that misdirection and gets toward a first down at the 45-yard line. Contain got broken, didn't it?
Well, one thing that happened here is this is the first time they've run that play today, but the Huskies have practiced against this. Not enough people at the top. You see right there, Manas Hopeway, but the key thing, Greg Carruthers got blocked, the safety on the inside, which made that play successful.
So Kellen Clemens is the quarterback, and Terrence Whitehead is the running back. What a different world than what was expected with Jason Fife and Ontario Smith. And it's a toss to Whitehead, who hands to Howry on the reverse. Jafar Williams sees it well, but can't make the tackle. Howry with room to the 30-yard line and inside the 30.
Well, I tell you what, there's no way that play should be successful, but you got to give credit to Keenan Howry, who is a shifty runner, a very gifted receiver. And let's watch to the right side. Over on this side, you're going to see, looks like Jafar Williams is in position, but Greg Carruthers gets blocked, and Keenan Howry sees it and is able to get by Jafar. No one there to stop him. That was a nice block on Greg Carruthers to make that play successful.
They've taken the pressure off Kellen Clemens.
Going back to the trick plays.
But he'll throw here the screen that Sonny asked for. And picking up his head and seeing the incoming Marquise Cooper, Jason Willis drops the football.
Well, you're not going to see that very often by a lot of receivers, but Jason Willis that time, who's had a big day so far for him, not able to hang on, but it was well defended. Again, I just mentioned the safeties and linebackers are doing a good job on those screen plays by the Ducks.
2nd and 10. Rain is still falling here at Autzen Stadium. Working the outside, Whitehead, ducking, looking, takes another route. Now a flag comes down at the end of the play.
Yeah, blocked in the back out there on Derek Johnson to make that thing happen, to get around the corner.
A conference for a moment, and that call is a hold. And that'll push them back. And the
holding, offense, penalties 10 yards, a spotted foul. Beat 2nd down.
See if we can get a look on the outside. We'll see Derek Johnson right there being held up by Willis. All jersey, you see his hands, David, were outside the shoulder pads, outside the body, hence the flag.
So I get inside the body, I can do whatever I want?
Well, you know, we thought that, but we've seen the Huskies get called for holding on that. See the penalties, not a lot of them this afternoon.
That pushes Kellen Clemens, the quarterback for Oregon, to 2nd and 12. They'll option. And Clemens will keep, he's still on his feet, and showing a little bit of toughness, works himself out to the 22-yard line.
Got to find your linebackers on this play. Let's see if we can see where they are. The block on Marquise Cooper there. Anthony Kelly being blocked, can't quite get a hand out there to help out, and Clemens does a nice job, shows some good quickness for the quarterback to get around, but still is 3rd down with 2 yards to go.
Clemens threw for 8,647 yards in his high school career out of Burns, Oregon, and over 100 touchdowns. 3rd and 2, though, here. He'll throw. Rushed by Kai Ellis. And almost intercepted.
Derek Johnson could have had his third this afternoon.
And that'll leave it at 4th and 2. Jared Siegel will come in.
Good pressure. See Kai Ellis getting high and Clemens having to throw in the run back to the middle, which you don't want your quarterback to do. There's a lot of people in there, but I tell you, Derek Johnson should have had that one.
You see his head move. He ran before the catch. His head literally, you could literally see him peek left to see if he could find a running lane. Well, here's Jared Siegel. He is a Lou Groza semifinalist. He hit 15 straight until Washington State where he missed. This one is about 39 yards, and it's no good. After hitting 15 straight, the sophomore misses his second in as many weeks. And the Washington Huskies, for the first time today, will have the football and the lead. With 9:22 left, special teams turn south on Mike Bellotti. Husky cheerleaders here in the grounds of the Oregon Ducks, Autzen Stadium, with the Huskies leading it 21-14, and the football in the hands of the Huskies with the lead, something that they've had very little in the Pac-10 play. An opportunity to try to get the ground game going, work the clock a tiny bit with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. The first carry to Alexis for not much.
I agree with everything you said, but I think they still can throw the football. I still think you need to get the ball to Reggie Williams a little bit, or at least a wide out. If you look at the yards per rush, and Reggie's coming out in there blocking for his running back.
Reggie looks a bit hobbled. He's one catch away from breaking the Husky all-time record, probably. But he seems to be needing some attendance. 5 wide, Kevin Ware in the slot. Pickett will look for Frederick. And complete, and Charles tried to be tricky instead of moving forward for the first down, and will leave the Huskies in a third down.
Well, I don't understand that. Looks like Charles Frederick was running towards the wrong end zone after that reception. You've got to get near the first down marker, which is right around in here, and he elects to go the wrong direction, which puts the Huskies in a 3rd and long 2 situation.
3rd and 2, Williams still on the bench. Cody Pickett has now completed more passes than any quarterback in the history of Washington.
Going back to Gil Dobie days, I think, David.
Maybe back to Sonny Sixkiller days. Gets them to jump. The run to Alexis. Everybody seems to have stopped if that penalty is on. Oh, wow. A big shot by 97 on after the play. I don't see any flag in regards to that, but some big frustration.
Yeah, Wright came in. He's been playing in there.
Prior to the play, dead ball, offsides, contact with the offensive line on the defense. Penalties 5 yards, first down.
There's that hard snap count again to draw the defense off. And
the second time today Pickett's done that.
You see him, the shoulders there a little bit. He's a hard count. Oshansky not able to get back and jumps off. Big break for the Huskies there, and that's a couple times now Cody Pickett's worked that just perfectly.
Reggie Williams in the game, comes down to the near side. Guarded by Stephen Moore down there. Cody will pass, but he looks elsewhere to Pat Reddick, crossing the middle of the secondary and out to the 43-yard line.
That's a nice play right there. You look at Reggie Williams on the near side. He goes down deep, and then Pat Reddick comes from the far side underneath, and that's a great play on first down. You're going to see him come right across here and make the play, and just nice. One thing I like about Pat Reddick is he'll turn it upfield and run towards the first down marker like that, and that's a great job.
Oregon showing some blitz. Cody checks out of it. Crowd trying to make itself heard. 7 on the game clock. Lob up high for Reggie. Moore on the coverage, incomplete. Moore is the junior, but he's only 5'9".
Only 5'9", but he's been a good player this afternoon.
Cody kind of tapped himself, said, hey, that was my fault. My bad.
Well, it's a touch pass, you know. He's got to lay it up there for your big man to bring down, and you can't have too much juice on it because it's going to get there before he can really get set to make the play.
Big 3rd and 2. Oregon couldn't convert on theirs moments ago. Alexis stuffed. The Oregon defense makes a play.
I honestly thought the Huskies were going to do a play action on that and throw the ball. And great job by the Oregon defense to just jump over everybody. And you saw it there, Kevin Mitchell, one of their leading tacklers, just going over the top.
Does the rain in any way make Rick Neuheisel less willing to throw, or the lead, or is there some conservative element here because of the weather and the lead?
Well, I don't think if you're going to throw the ball deep downfield, it shouldn't be. But if you're going to try and throw in between the safeties all day, yes.
Maybe the fact that Derek McLaughlin is just pounding the ball today. Fumble, ball loose, picked up by the Washington Huskies, Kevin Ware. An enormous turnover, and the Huskies have the ball inside the Oregon red zone.
Wilbur Hooks is doing it all. He's catching passes, playing a little defense, and that time coming up big time to let Kevin Ware be a hero with the punt return. I couldn't believe that Keenan Howery didn't call for the fair catch with Cunningham and Will Hooks. Will Hooks just a little baby pad up there, knocked the ball out, David. And Kevin Ware right there.
And we so often criticize kids who try to make too much of a play. Credit to Kevin Ware for just making the smart play, getting his feet set and falling on the ball.
Well, the offensive players go through a series where then early on they practice fumble recovery. That time he did it right. Look at the rain.
It's coming down on the Ducks right now. Reggie Williams covered well. Cody's got a roll. But Tuiasa Sopo is his lead blocker. He just stays on his hip and gets out for about 3 yards. It's the second time in this football game in the second half that the Huskies have started to drive inside the 20-yard line. That's how they got the lead, and now they have a chance to add on to it.
Well, Keith Lewis hurt his ankle on the play, kind of hobbling around down there. He may go out of the ball game. That would be another break for the Huskies, but looks like he's going to stay in there. But you're right. And the nice thing about that, Cody Pickett didn't do more than he could. He just got what he could, gained a nice play on first down. 4 yards is great.
22 opponents' turnovers into 77 points this year. Blitz comes, Pickett to Paul Arnold. First down at the 6-yard line. And who were they going after? But Marquise Binns again.
Going after Binns, the freshman, but you look at Paul Arnold on the outside. Got the ball out to him extremely quick. Right up there on the top, you see Paul Arnold. He's going to go down, do a little spin move. Now let's watch this right here. Boom, go. Get to the corner. Looked like Paul may have had an opportunity, but he was focused on that first down, David.
Ball at the 6-yard line. Huskies have scored 81% of their times in the red zone this year. Alexis able to avoid the tackler, but can't keep his feet going forward, and Binns with a nice defensive play there on the run gets Alexis out of bounds.
Did just enough to throw it off and not allow Rich Alexis to turn upfield.
Sonny, if the Huskies get a touchdown here, how big a deal? Mike Bellotti has pulled the quarterback, Jason Fife, has gone to Kellen Clemens. It's not thrown a lot. To fall behind 2 scores with under 20 minutes to play, what would this do to Oregon?
Well, most teams, you got to really rally. And every team likes to say fourth quarter. We are still in the third quarter. So even if the Huskies score, look for the Ducks to stay fighting after it.
Kevin Ware in motion. Blitz comes up the middle. Reddick at the 1. Did he get the call? 6 for the Dogs. 6 for the Dogs. They're up by 13 in Autzen Stadium.
Pat Reddick just breaking to the middle, and nice touchdown reception from Pat Reddick. He's just going to come across. Cody Pickett picks him up early. And look who he scores against, but Keith Lewis.
He didn't say Pat Reddick was overrated.
Said something about some other guy.
John Anderson puts the dot on the I. And the Washington Huskies have been given the football twice inside the 20-yard line in the second half. They've done the job both times and lead by 14. Having fun on the road are the Washington Huskies. At least everybody but the guy that was being stood on, probably. And it wasn't Reggie Williams this time. It was the man next to him wearing the helmet, Pat Reddick, with the touchdown, his second of the season. A 4-play, 18-yard drive, and the Huskies are learning a valuable lesson the last 2 weeks of how important turnovers are.
Well, no question. It's always good when it goes in your side.
And it helps time of possession when they fumble punts and the air offense never gets out there. The Huskies
fumble punts, interceptions, and you take care of the football and be productive yourself. That's nothing wrong with that. Get some points on the board, and right now it looks like Jason Fife is warming up, so after this kick we may see Jason Fife back in, Dave.
A 14-point deficit for Oregon would be tough for Mike Bellotti to roll out Kellen Clemens one more time. Well, now it's time to make sure, for the Huskies standpoint, they don't allow a big special teams play. Oregon is second in the Pac-10 in return yardage. John Anderson with a kick will be taken right at the goal line. And still on his feet at the 31-yard line, and finally taken down at the 33.
Well, Jason Fife back under center here, David, and Bellotti does elect to go back to the junior starter.
Fife had completed just one of his last 10 as the half ended. And Shaw, the redshirt sophomore, who came in today with just 4 carries for 6 yards, able to surge out to the 36-yard line. Actually, call it the 39-yard line, excuse me, and it'll be just a yard short of the first down.
Pretty good day. Not bad, 7 yards a carry. Well, let's see if the Husky defense here is second and very short. Watch out for a trick play on this down and distance.
Oregon had 8 first downs in their first 2 drives. They've had just 4 in their last 8. Fife to throw, looking Biggs, got a man, hung it up there. Derek Johnson knocked it away, and Parker couldn't catch it off the tip.
Derek Johnson again in position to make a great interception. Early on, Parker was wide open. Fife a little late getting the ball downfield, and boy, that could have been the 4th interception by Derek Johnson today. He's dropped 2 and caught 2.
Getting greedy. The guy's got 4 in the last 2 weeks.
I want him to get as many as he can.
Going into last week, no Husky had more than 1. Now Derek Johnson's got 5.
And
3rd and 1.
And 11 pass breakups.
Power set. Sorry, Sonny. Power set. A lot of motion out of this. They give it to Shaw. Tied up at the line. I don't think he got the first down. The Huskies, for the 3rd time today, hold 3rd and short defensively.
Well, I'll tell you, a guy that's really come on this afternoon, Houdini Jackson, right in the thick of that.
And Rick Neuheisel wants the safety defense.
Watch it here, coming from the top. Well, we didn't. There they are.
Greg Carruthers with his strength.
That man right down there, though, Manas Hopeway as well.
Huskies are staying in their regular defense, scared of a fake. Tough for Frederick to return it. And the ball takes a duck bounce. And will go quietly at the 19-yard line. But the Washington Huskies have a 2-score lead, 28-14, with 3:03 left in the 3rd quarter. And the Huskies have taken advantage of turnovers.
Well, it's a great play. Special teams, an integral part. Right there, Wilbur Hooks knocking it out from Keenan Howry, resulting in this nice play to Pat Reddick against Keith Lewis right at the goal line. Touchdown Huskies, and that's and you know, we said it before in earlier games, Dave, when you get those opportunities, you want touchdowns, and the Huskies have responded with touchdowns.
Look at Cody Pickett's day, 21 of 30. Alexis is keeping his legs going, picks up 2, and the clock still in the 3rd quarter, something the Huskies are trying to keep going. And the rain keeps falling.
Yeah, you look at the rain, the drops are getting bigger, and they're coming down faster. And we want to take care of the football and try and kill some time and increase that time of possession advantage the Huskies have right now.
And the rain on the crowd is tougher than it used to be. When you're down 14, it's wetter than it is otherwise.
It gets real cold all of a sudden.
Now this play is stopped.
Dead ball prior to the play, false start, offense, penalties 5 yards, remain second down.
Elliot Zajac back in the starting lineup as Dan Dix, who's played so well this year. The offensive line actually 4-2 in games in which Dan Dix has started this year. Zajac, the senior from Bakersfield, California, coming back off that injury and getting a chance to finish out his senior season against the two Northwest arch rivals.
What a better way to finish it out. And it's nice to be able to finish it out being somewhat healthy.
Alexis again, and hit in the backfield. Nice play, coming shooting through the middle for the big linebackers, Moretti and Mitchell.
Well, when you don't have a lead back in there to help you out, trying to knock somebody down, it lets linebackers like Moretti just shoot through the gaps and make plays like that. And he's trying to get the crowd riled up here in Autzen Stadium. It's wet. Third down, this is not good for the Huskies. They're normally about 47%, I believe, David. Just 30 this afternoon.
Oregon has held their opponents to 35% this season. 3rd and 13. Long throw by Pickett, and we may have pass interference. We do. Boy, what arm strength from Cody Pickett. That was a long throw.
Long throw. And just a rifle. See the call right there.
Keeps the drive alive.
Charles Favroth, I believe that might be his second penalty today in a passing situation.
Pass interference, defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Time of possession today, 24-35 for Rick Neuheisel and the Huskies, just 17 for the Oregon Ducks, and you know that is something that Rick believes in. Even if they're a passing team, he wants time of possession.
Well, Oregon's not a very penalized team in the Pac-10, but today you see 7 for 50 yards, and certainly those that give you a big first down when you have 3rd and long are tough.
No backs. Cody with a nice pocket, complete to Kevin Ware, ball's loose, picked up.
Nope, incomplete.
Nope, they'll call it incomplete. Sam Hughes. Boy, I'll be interested to see the replay here.
Yeah, me too.
I sure thought that Kevin Ware had 2 feet down and had taken a step.
Well, the one thing we couldn't see as it happened was control of the football. You'll see right here, Kevin Ware, let's watch the hands, hits him in the shoulder pads. Boy, I don't know, that looks like a clean reception to me, David.
I think that one might be, who knows? You know, I'm not sure. I mean, you could have a case where you have, you know, if it's the NFL and you have the replay, I think that actually would be hard to overturn. You'd have a hard time saying he ever had possession. Whatever that phrase is about evidence. Reggie Williams, complete.
It's going to be a 3rd down again for the Husky offense. Last time they benefited from a penalty.
And Reggie Williams just passed Mario Bailey for the University of Washington. Career receiving yards, 2,088 on his career. And I'll tell you what, that's amazing because he's just a sophomore.
Well, when you're in a system that gets the ball in the air a lot, and Reggie Williams, 2 years now, has just been very productive catching that football.
Another big 3rd and 6. Williams is in the slot. Alexis goes out of the backfield. Looking for Toledo, and it's incomplete. Nice read on the play by Marley Tucker of Oregon.
4th and 6.
Well, let's see if Derek McLaughlin can come through again. Except for one punt, he's been outstanding this afternoon.
McLaughlin, who's been outstanding today. He had one bad kick, but that was on the snap. Now he bobbles it, but able to get off another nice high kick. Powery going all the way back to his 12-yard line where he stepped out of bounds. Derek McLaughlin, for the 2nd straight day, has just been a hero to the Washington Huskies in regards to special teams plays. Fourth punt today inside the 15-yard line, and Oregon does not have a running game going today as the way they usually do. They have 110 yards on 22 carries, so it's not terrible. But it is not the running game you're used to seeing, and that making him go 85 yards on 4 different occasions puts a huge amount of pressure on the offense. Derek McLaughlin just doing the job.
Derek McLaughlin doing his job, and it's nice to see him bounce back from kind of mediocrity there and
being benched.
And all it took was one bad punt from John Anderson to straighten his punting career out.
It's funny, those two are roommates. Must have been a strange week. Fife back in to throw, looking to screen. Huskies on it, knocked away.
Nice read again. Manas Hopoi there to knock it down. Jerome Stevens. Boy, the Huskies had that one snuffed out from the get-go. Terry Johnson as well out there with the receiver. But let's see if we can get a look at the paw from Manas Hopoi. See how Jason Fife had to switch that ball around, David? That means when he's getting off the ground where he grips is wet, he had to twist it just enough, but it didn't matter. Manas Hopoi read the screen.
You mentioned it earlier. They're doing a great job reading those. What is it? What's the key there?
Well, they're reading their keys. Number one is their linemen. You can tell if they're really selling the pass or they're just setting themselves up for the get outside for the block.
2nd and 10, Fife. He's going to run. He's got a lot of room. And he gets close to the first down and gets the first down. Heads up play by Jason Fife.
Well, the Huskies are dropping everybody back in coverage, and linebackers as well as your safeties. Receivers are well covered downfield, and Jason Fife, with all that green down there, decides to take off and run for the first down. You can see no one in the view until Galloway shows up late, but that was after he had run the ball 10 yards.
Fife has not been completing many passes since he opened the day in the first quarter, hitting 6 of his first 7. And so maybe running's a better option for him. Play action. Big throw. Complete. To the 44-yard line. Keenan Howry with the catch, and for Keenan Howry, that is his first catch of the day, which makes it 46 consecutive games with a catch.
Well, Keenan Howry with a deep out, and a lot of time to throw. That ball was in the air a long time. Breaking it off against Derek Johnson.
Look at Fife, his 3rd completion there since the first quarter. Most of the yards coming on that last one. 7 of 10 to start with 2 touchdowns. Oregon offense has not been clicking. The offense only scored 7 points last week against Washington State as the Cougar defense really shut them down. Trying to get the running game going again with Whitehead, and the Huskies get pushed forward for about 4 yards.
Well, the Huskies have Chris Massey in the game. Derek Johnson hobbled off after that last play. Hopefully just a minor problem and be back out on the field.
The Huskies defensively now looking at a 2nd and 7. Fife trying to set the screen, pressure, tosses it out toward Whitehead, and a great play by Terry Johnson. And no flag for pass interference or anything of the sort. Will go down
or
as an
intentional grounding, but there was, I guess, a back out to the flat. That was Shaw was somewhat in the territory, but Terry Johnson, let's see, well, I don't quite see anybody there. And he wasn't outside the tackles. That
look at that right there.
I think the Ducks got away with that.
That's Wilbur Hooks.
That's special teams man number 1, Will Hooks.
And because of the injury to James Sims, who didn't make the trip, they have him as a safety. He blitzes right here. Fife tries to run into the spot, and Marquise Cooper, diving, makes the play on Fife and keeps him short of the first down. And quarter has come to an end. The Huskies, Marquise Cooper just made one of those enormous defensive athletic plays that may force Oregon to punt when we come back. The 3rd quarter, all about interceptions, turnovers, and Husky touchdowns. Rain-soaked Autzen Stadium renovated. An extra $90 million, but they may have taken away some of the home field advantage as they've lost already twice here this year of the Ducks. And they're struggling now, down 28-14 to the Huskies. Derek Johnson, who has been the hero, leaves the field with a little bit of an injury, seeming to try to get out as quickly as possible. Maybe going to get the ankle retaped or something of that sort that they can't do with the wetness.
Definitely got a hitch in the get along there, I'll tell you, but he's had an outstanding afternoon. And the Ducks here on 4th down in a long 2. Huskies got to be very cognizant of the hard count. Don't be jumping off sides and giving them an easy one.
In the 3rd quarter, the Huskies in the pouring rain, 14-0. That's been a nemesis for Oregon all year, as Oregon has now been outscored 89-66 in the 3rd quarter. But here it's showtime to open up the 4th quarter. 4th and 2 at the 48. Jason Fife at quarterback. They've got to get to the 46.
Going for a hard count.
Now he audibles.
Going for a hard count.
Huskies holding the ground. And Huskies don't bite.
Yeah, I had a feeling they were going to do that, David, and take a gamble and see if they could get an easy gift. Not able to pull it off, however.
It's an interesting decision of whether you go for it or whether you punt. And Rick Neuheisel looking nervously on about a fake. As Mike Bellotti and that whole, he pulled out the biggest trick play he probably had, the reverse flea flicker bomb. I don't think it was really actually a flea flicker, but it had a reverse pass earlier today. And it didn't play out for him. They will punt. High kick, Frederick Fair catches at the 12-yard line. And the Huskies enter into the 4th quarter leading by 14, 28-14. Washington Huskies with the lead and the football. They'll start on the ground to Alexis. He gets out across the 20 for a 1st down and all the way out to the 25-yard line.
Nice lead draw right there with Rich Alexis running hard this afternoon. We've seen him go out of the games a few times, David, but he's come back stronger every time he's gone out. And that'll help you get out of the hole a little bit here.
Alexis with 24 carries for 85 yards today. We talked earlier about the great defensive front of Oregon that was going to be such a problem. Haloti Ngata and Igor Olashanti made their statements early, but Ngata's not in right now. And Alexis goes right into the hole where Ngata usually plays and able to pick up 5 yards close to the 30-yard line.
Well, Mike Bellotti's got Kai Smalley in there, a senior, last home game, playing a little D-line, and they've done that so far in the game. They've spelled those 2 starting tackles a few times.
Also in the ball game for Oregon on the front line. We'll show you him in just a second. It's number 92 up on the top of your screen. And he is the brother of the great Ryan Long. It's Devin Long of Washington State. So they're going with their 2nd string D-line right now. And Alexis tries to get right through it and can't. David Martin with the tackle, playing in place of the injured Garrett Graham.
Yeah,
and
Martin's come up and made a few plays this afternoon. There's a look at Long.
And I think on Fox Sports Net next week, they'll hear plenty about Long. It'll be Ryan Long. 3:30 on Saturday, as Steve Fisiak and Tom Ramsey will have the call for you as the Apple Cup gets underway.
Well, 3rd down play here, and the Huskies would like to keep this drive going early on in the 4th quarter and burn some of that clock.
Huskies have not had a drive with more than 1 first down, but they've gotten 2 touchdowns recently. They've been playing with a short field. Rolling, complete, Paul Arnold with the catch. What a big play from Pickett to Arnold for the 1st down to keep the clock moving.
Boy, I tell you, that was very close, and Stephen Moore was out there in coverage, but Paul Arnold, and a nice throw by Cody Pickett to pick up that 1st down. A little bit of time, wanted to go down the middle. It looked like Kevin Ware. He's covered, but right there. Boy, that was very close and nice grab.
Braxton Clement now in at running back. You saw Rich Alexis talking to Paul Arnold on the sideline. And they'll give him the carry, coming up from his corner position to make the tackle is Stephen Moore.
The ball carrier, stopped by Stephen Moore.
Braxton Clement maybe still hobbled. He didn't look too explosive on that handoff and run. But the offensive line got to be impressed with what they're doing with these running backs. Rich Alexis got to be up in yardage this afternoon.
He's got 26 carries for 90 yards. Braxton's got 4 carries for 9 yards. So they're at a little over. And plus Cody Pickett scrambling. They're over 100 yards. Maybe most importantly, Sonny, is that they've run the ball 34 times today and passed the ball 34 times. They'll throw here. Reggie Williams with the completion and the first down. And for Reggie Williams, that is his 12th reception in the game. That is a career high, breaking the record that he set against Washington State in the Apple Cup last season.
Well,
how about 21 catches in 2 weeks?
I think that Cody Pickett will take that. Again, he was right where we had talked about earlier in the game. Nice little slot move right there, right in the open area, and Stephen Moore not able to stay with him. Not help from the linebackers to lend to Moore.
If I'm an Oregon Duck fan, I'm losing my mind. How is Reggie Williams catching the ball and seemingly open today?
Well, they're moving him around a little bit, David, and putting some pressure on those defensive backs. And Cody Pickett, again, they're short routes, and he's able to find an open area. What a nice run that is.
Good offensive line work as well. Todd Backert was leading the way and couldn't find anybody to block.
Oh, he ran without a helmet even.
That's really impressive.
Watch the offensive line. Todd Backert, the center, pulling out around, and boy, isn't that a nice sight for a Husky fan to see a running back being led down the field by your big lineman. That was a nice move by Todd Backert. Get outside and help his running back. That's a nice play. You'd like to have running plays, David, where you pick up first down, 5 yards, 6 yards a crack. That'll help your offense.
Huskies have now run for more yards than they have in any game since they ran for 129 against Idaho. They have now run more running plays than passing plays. Who would have thought that? And they'll stay on the ground with Braxton Clement. And the biggest difference, Sonny, is something we talked about earlier in the ballgame. For most of this game, since they took in the second half for all of the game, but they've either been tied or ahead, whereas most of this year they've never had the ball being ahead, which makes it impossible for Keith Gilbertson and the crew to get the running game established when you're always playing from behind.
Well, that's true, and it's a lot easier when you get those turnovers and you get touchdowns and you have the lead. And, you know, they responded to that one long drive in the first half and end up with Rich Alexis getting a score. This drive, you just want to burn the clock with 10 minutes to go in the game.
Reggie Williams isolated out on the wing. He runs a slant, he's wide open. Reggie Williams outrunning the defense again. 6 for the Dogs. Welcome to Reggie's world. The Oregon defense has completely broken down in guarding Reggie Williams, and the Huskies are taking advantage and running away with it with 34 unanswered points at Autzen Stadium.
Well, watch this. Short route, you just asked me. No one there, David. And he just turns on the jets, and guess who he's beating out there for the touchdown?
Keith Lewis?
Keith Lewis.
No.
Yeah. Cody Pickett passed to Reggie Williams to beat Keith Lewis.
A 13th catch of the game, a school record. Reggie Williams today has set the school record for most catches in the day, most receiving yards in a career, and continues to roll up the books. The greatest wide receiver to ever don the purple and gold, and he's tearing up the Ducks. The Huskies have taken complete control over a rain-soaked Autzen Stadium crowd of 35-14. The Husky band with the ponchos on and loving every second of it, up 35-14 against the Oregon Ducks, and 9 minutes and 52 seconds away from being bowl eligible. And Reggie Williams is the man.
Hey, wait.
You're absolutely right. What a day for Reggie. 13 catches, 157 yards. And interestingly, the Huskies over 30 points, and that's been somewhat of the bellmark this year. And they are over 30 points. They're 5-0. When they score under 30 points, 0-5.
Well, that's a nice stat.
It's a good number for
Way
them.
to go, Brian.
And it was as though a fire alarm went off in Autzen Stadium moments ago when Reggie Williams hit the end zone. The place has emptied out, and the only remaining smiling wet folk are the diehards and the Husky faithful. John Anderson to kick off, a low liner. Bounces and will be taken at the 2. And the Huskies cover it perfectly. A flag comes in as Benjamin and the crew make the tackle. What a day for the Washington Huskies. Flag is a block in the back. 35-14, 35 unanswered points, and it all started on the ground with Rich Alexis.
Rich Alexis, that big opening first half rush. Right here, the man Reggie Williams uncovered, and Cody Pickett just recognizes it quickly, gets him the ball, and he scores. This time he just comes across the field to an open area in the middle and outruns Keith Lewis for the touchdown.
And then
And this man, Derek Johnson, again, 2 strong weeks in a row. One of 2 interceptions right there, taking it away from Keenan Howry.
119 yards rushing. Cody Pickett, single season passing leader. Reggie Williams, 13 catches. It's a whole team effort today. Jason Fife in the end zone, hit as he throws. And it's just short for a diving Derek Johnson, who wanted yet another interception, back out after heading into the locker rooms for a moment.
You said throwing from the end zone, and you know what? There's only 2 Husky rushers back there, David, but it's getting enough pressure on the quarterback. Jerome Stevens back there, and the man that we talked about earlier, Houdini Jackson, also.
Wow, he's having a great day. How about Derek Johnson the last 2 weeks? What a tribute to these players and this coaching staff to be able to come back from what was a pretty low mark. Fife in trouble again. Throws it away. What's
Grounding
the call?
from the end zone. Nope.
They call it incomplete. If it was grounding from the end zone, it would have been a safety. But
Outside the
Fife
tackle, I guess, is the call.
got it away.
Kai Ellis, nice look there. Great pressure. Let's watch the men up front. Josh Miller, Anthony Kelly, Josh Miller, and oh, they just reached out and grabbed that arm. Great effort there. Kai Ellis getting back there and dragging the quarterback down.
3rd and 10. Oregon 3 of 10 on 3rd down. And Fife, who's just 10 of 24 today, in pressure, under pressure, overwhelmed again, throws it away again. And the Fife may have been beaten up, and Fife has been beaten up both physically and mentally today. Just 3 of his last 17.
Tough afternoon, and you've got to credit to not only the defensive backs of the Huskies, but the rush right there, just coming in. Kai Ellis and Terry Johnson. Looked like he hurt his left shoulder on that play there, David.
And Mike Bellotti kind of knew when I talked to him this week about whether or not I said I got to have Fife make the plays. Well, a timeout on the field as the Oregon Ducks get ready to punt, trailing 35-14. The Washington Huskies are looking at bowl eligibility with 9:22 left. They're walking out of Autzen Stadium, and they are very shell-shocked because their Oregon Ducks have suddenly lost 4 of 5, and Rick Neuheisel on the other end said when they come out of the abyss they were in, the nadir that he found his club in earlier this year, that it would be sweeter than it would be otherwise. I think he's going to remind everybody he said that, and they're one step away, if they hold on to this one as they should, to the Northwest Championship that he wanted.
Well, certainly a great effort on the road to come down and really take it away from the Oregon Ducks.
And the Ducks losing at home. Their home field is not the same, as they will have lost their 3rd game this year at home. If the Huskies hold on, Charles Frederick in Duck territory, you can only expect the Huskies to come out nice and conservative here and work the 9-11 off the clock. How fun does Apple Cup win week become with Washington State ranked as highly as they are and the Huskies looking as though they're going to be on a streak of having won 2 impressive games in a row.
And having to go on the road again to Pullman to play the game, and helmets are starting to fly down there, and a little frustration on the part of the Duck defenders.
Khalif Barnes lost his tackle in the mix of Braxton Clemens carry.
Well, you don't want to get in that battle, just kind of play the ball game and see what happens, but you don't want any penalties called on you.
Clock just rolls under 8:30. They've changed the playing surface here at Autzen Stadium. It's the same turf that they have at Husky Stadium. You wonder without that Omni turf if some of the advantage that the Ducks used to have has dissipated a bit as Braxton Clemens goes into the line to move the clock under the 8-minute mark. I mean, that Omni turf was playing on concrete. How much do you think that matters if maybe Oregon has pulled that?
Well, I don't think that's, I think it's just the talent itself, really. It's not the field, and I think somewhat it was a home field advantage, but, you know, the crown is different here now, too. If you look at the time of possession, right there, that has nothing really to do with the field. It's the players and taking advantage and really taking care of that football.
35-14. 7:35 left. See the play clock down at 3. Quick hitter, who else? Reggie Williams, still on his feet. Reggie's going to the house again. People don't have careers like the day Reggie Williams is having today.
Oh my gosh. How about Cody Pickett?
Reggie Williams is simply outstanding. 198 yards receiving on 14 receptions, and boom, baby, boom.
I tell you what, you got to really make him wrapped up. Ben's that time not able to do it against the big number 1, and Reggie Williams, what an afternoon. It's just hard to describe. 198 yards, 3 touchdowns.
You know, when the lights are a little brighter, he plays a little better. Extra point sneaks on in, and the Washington Huskies have rolled off 42 unanswered points against the Oregon Ducks, and number 1 is coming to a house near you. They're happy that they made the trek down to Eugene, Oregon. The Husky faithful always traveling well. Look at the frown back there. Look at that guy right there. He is not a happy guy at all. There's no smiles on that man at all. He's wondering what happened to his Ducks, who have allowed 42 unanswered points.
He looked like Mike Holmgren.
He's not happy. No.
But that man right there, Reggie Williams, what an afternoon. And Cody Pickett, got to be thankful that he's playing at the same time that Reggie Williams is playing, and Charles Frederick and that whole crew of wide receivers.
I think I have overwhelmed you with numbers today, but Cody Pickett's 23rd touchdown pass of the year this season ties the UW record by Brock Huard. I mean, they are just shattering the record books. These two together, Cody Pickett and Reggie Williams. You see Taylor Barton looking like he's going to warm up and get some time in his home state.
Taylor Barton wants some of this stuff.
I got one piece of advice to him. Pass to Reggie. Still on the feet, coming out. Amundsen down to the 47-yard line.
I love that.
It's not Jimmy Johnson, is he?
I like it. Well, Cody having a great day out there, and certainly Reggie Williams and the whole slug of guys, Reddick, Paul Arnold, everyone coming to the forefront and coming on the road in Autzen Stadium, David, and having a nice day.
It's a young football team, and the leadership, I think, was a question for these guys, and they obviously have found the right guys to lead. Incomplete by Fife again. He has, you know, Oregon, as Fife has really struggled, suddenly finds themselves in a real quandary. they don't really have a quarterback anymore after the last 2 games as Fife has struggled. Their offense has scored 21 points in 2 weeks combined. They find themselves losing 4 out of 5. Mike Bellotti might have to call Rick Neuheisel for advice, but I have a sneaky suspicion that phone call might not be made.
Well, it goes back to the scheduling early on. You talk about the Husky schedule being soft. Well, the Ducks were a little soft themselves getting ready for Pac-10 play.
Fife misses again. He's now 10 of 27 after starting 6 of 7, and Mike Bellotti looks a lot like that guy in the crowd.
Yeah, it looks like he's just throwing the ball and not really with any intention. Yeah, Mike Bellotti, look at that, 18-4 in November.
And 11-0 at Autzen Stadium. He had never,
in November, that's great.
In November, this is the first time Mike Bellotti has ever lost at Autzen Stadium. And the Washington Huskies have done some whooping. What a swing game. In traffic, Wilbur Hooks just about had himself an interception.
Now that would be great. I'd like to see that. An interception, he's got a reception on the day and an interception. He just missed that one.
How about Wilbur Hooks? Talk about you wanted some leadership and some guys. That's a senior right there, switching positions this late in the year.
You know, and the value of Will Hooks on punt coverage.
Oh.
Mr. Bullet Man going downfield, and now he's added another slash to his name playing DB. That's a great story.
Beyond the glory, he's doing Cordell Stewart. Cordell Stewart didn't do all the things that Wilbur Hooks did. Fife hit as he throws, ball comes out, incomplete. And the defense of the Washington Huskies just has their ears back and is loving it. And look at that, man. There's another story today.
Houdini Jackson playing tough out there, and see Will Hooks giving him 5. He knows he's played hard, and Anthony Kelly coming up to knock the ball away from Jason Fife on the end of just a horrible afternoon. And there's AK.
The senior group right there of Anthony Kelly and Jafar Williams have to be happy about taking step 1 and step 2 of their Northwest Championship. Washington Huskies leading the Oregon Ducks 42-14. David Locke along with Sonny Sixkiller with just over 6 minutes left. And what a turnaround by the Huskies players. And then I think that you gotta talk about Rick Neuheisel's best characteristic. He is unbelievably positive. He's, as he says himself, there's nothing he can do but be positive. And to get the first win at Autzen Stadium since 1996 for this man, and he knew it. Sonny, we were in the lobby of the hotel yesterday.
Right.
Here in Eugene, and all of a sudden there was a band playing. There was all this noise. I couldn't figure out what it was as Cody hands off to Rich Alexis, and he gets across the 42-yard line. We'll finish that story about the hotel in a moment, but right now let's spend a Magnolia Hi-Fi Magnolia moment with our friend Reggie Williams.
Well, they have Reggie on the outside, Reggie on the inside. This time he's in the slot, uncovered for some reason, and he makes the grab for the touchdown here. Just goes to an open area, linebacker, no help in the middle, and outruns Keith Lewis for the touchdown. Again, one-on-one against Benz. Can't tackle the big man with no help on top by the Ducks, leaving him out there, and Reggie makes him pay.
What an incredible tribute to the coaching staff of the Washington Huskies. Reggie Williams has 23 catches in the last 2 games, and they really just did remarkable things to be able to move the ball around and be able to get him the football. Reggie Williams with a day that will be talked about for many years to come. 14 catches for 198 yards. And his career highs were last year in the Apple Cup. He shattered his catches, which was 11. His yards, 203 and 3 touchdowns, were against the Washington State Cougars last year.
The last play, Todd Backer kind of dinged up his knees. He is walking off on his own, which is good. Don't want to see an injury here at the end of a ball game, getting ready for that big game with the Cup next week.
Oh, you think that week might be something
It might
special?
be a little special next week.
How about winning 2 games against Oregon State and Oregon to make the Apple Cup get back to the level of importance? And I'll bet you ask all the Husky fans, they attended Todd Backer, who said that the biggest win was against Oregon. They'll tell you the biggest win now is
got to get geared up
against Washington State.
Yep.
Nice run by Braxton Clemens. The Huskies just pound the clock. Well, I'm certain we didn't think that Rick Neuheisel didn't think. Well, we were talking about Rick Neuheisel in the hotel and the incredible atmosphere. I bet you when he didn't think he was going to be running out the clock with 5:30 left. So we're walking through the lobby at the hotel last night, Sonny, and you just hear this band and this noise, and you can hear this voice screaming. And Rick Neuheisel is putting on just a rally for the troops. We don't really know because it was behind closed doors, but you can hear him he's trying to give the presentation of the team over the noise to say, you can do your job inside the noise.
And it worked to perfection. And the other thing that makes that work is when your team goes out and gets points and gets the lead, that certainly takes the noise quotient totally out of the picture.
Smiles all around as the Huskies watch the clock continue to tick.
Well, it looks like no one's in a real hurry down there, whether you're a Duck or a Husky. Everyone wants this clock to just keep rolling on and tick down to 0-0-0.
Rain soaked, but look at this. Look at this. Watch this. Empty, empty. It's a wet day. I don't blame people. But there's sections that don't have anybody on it. It's a nice day for the Washington Huskies after a tough season. And Oregon now goes, as Braxton Clemens goes over the right side, to try to win the Civil War against Oregon State and try to get their ship rolling.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough week for the Ducks to go a few miles up the road to Corvallis. And it'll probably be weather similar to what we're seeing right now. It's not going to be a pretty sight up there in that black and orange territory of Reser Stadium.
It is wet. I mean, very, very, very wet.
The difference is on this side, it doesn't really seem that wet because you're ahead. But look at the season average, 74.2 yards rushing. Today, 138.
Amazing. They pound up the middle again on 3rd and 4. And everybody's getting a little chippy still.
Yeah, Brad Vanneman come in for Todd Backert at center. Lost his lid out there. See Rick calling the play.
And Rich Alexis wiping his hands off on Steve Axman's towel so that when he goes in there, he's got a firm hold. 4th down and 2. And I guess the Huskies are going to go for it.
I run the play. You don't want to kick a field goal. And certainly the way Derek McLaughlin's been punting, this isn't enough room for him to punt.
Ty Eriks is in at fullback in front of Rich Alexis. Option, Alexis. He's got to get to the 20, he does. 1st down, there's a flags all over the place though.
Yeah, looked like Reggie Williams out there.
Did Reggie do something wrong today?
I think he was just trying to make sure the guy didn't fall down, but they called him for holding.
2:38 now left.
Holding, offense, penalties 10 yards, spot of the foul.
All right, I have a question. If it was 4th and 2 and Rick wouldn't kick a field goal, now it's going to be 4th and 12. Does he kick the field goal? Does he punt? Or does he go for it again?
Well, I don't think you want to put more points on the board. I think he'll just run a play.
Well, you know what? I've never understood that, just to let you know. I'd just kick a field goal and say, hey, I drove down on your defense.
You ever seen an open wound and somebody pour salt in it?
No, I'm not. But getting a 1st down might be more salt. It's only the wound is open and you got the salt.
Well, they're saying it happened after he made the 1st down, so
it backs him up.
No, they'd say it is a 1st down.
So 1st down and 10 still. Because it's 10 yards from the spot of the penalty, and as they backed it up, it was beyond the 1st down marker. So 2:38 left, and Oregon probably not going to use many of their timeouts. The Huskies will just continue to pound it on the ground. Rich Alexis, who's over 100 yards on the day after the play before, now at about 104.
Well, that's a great pounding up there. Rich Alexis going to be a little sore tomorrow, but it's worth it. 29 rushes, 107 yards.
And 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
Now here's a guy that didn't even get to start one game and had kind of sulking on the sidelines a few games ago, and The staff has done a great job of keeping his head in the ball game, David, and that's the result right there. He's just kept working hard. You work hard, and good things happen. Certainly for Rich, it has today.
He had the fumble that when he came off the bench in that game and then didn't play again, and that was the low point, and he bounced back nicely.
I remember that. He hadn't practiced all week. Rick put him in there, and that happened.
And he powers down to the 7-yard line.
Boy, as easy as it is, it's the old, there's a friendliness there and sportsmanship, but the Oregon Ducks have kind of mailed it in right here.
No, it's just, I think that the whole concept throughout the Pac-10 year of senior quarterbacks and veteran leadership has been underestimated. And the task that Rick Neuheisel had, even though Cody Pickett's played to be a junior.
Here comes Taylor Barton in for Cody, and Dog fans should give Cody a big round right here. And in fact, I will. It's been a great afternoon for him.
Cody Pickett finishes at 26 of 37 for 316 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Taylor Barton comes in, and I think they may just be down in it, but the clock runs out. Taylor Barton, nice for him to get out on the field from Beaverton, Oregon, where he threw for over 4,000 yards and his 56 touchdowns as a senior.
Well, I was hoping to see him get in the ball game a little sooner, but you know, Taylor doesn't complain, and he and Cody are good friends, and it's unfortunate, but I hope he's not just in there to go to a knee.
I talked with Taylor this week about his future as a senior. So he'd like to play somewhere where he can maybe sneak on CFL or go to Germany or Australia and play one of those little leagues. He does take a knee. He said, hey, my body's fresh. I feel good.
Did you say Australia?
Well, I mean, just
that's
one
a
of those
different
funny leagues.
Australian rules football.
They have those funny. He says, I just want to go be able to. He said to me, here's what I want to do. This is what he said. He said, I want to be able to go travel and play somewhere. If I can do NFL Europe, or if I can do, you know, CFL, but even there I'll go on a lower level and just play football for a while, travel, and then I want to get into coaching.
Well, there's no question.
And you know he'll be a great coach.
No question, he loves the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not one of the graduate assistants for Rick Neuheisel in a few years.
Wouldn't surprise me at all, David.
Well, the Washington Huskies have walked into Autzen Stadium as Cody Pickett raises his arms high in the air. Rick Neuheisel getting hugs from the guys. And Rick Neuheisel, you want to wonder what these players think of Rick Neuheisel. Look that Rick Neuheisel has the game ball. The players went and took the ball and gave it to Rick Neuheisel. If you're wondering what these guys think of their head coach and how he stood up for them in the tough times this year, that answers your question right there. Neuheisel taking the time with some of the members of the Oregon Ducks. A huge win for the University of Washington football program, led by that man right there, Rick Neuheisel. A rain-soaked Autzen Stadium's all smiles if you're wearing purple and gold. As Aaron Butler meeting with the crowd that made the trip and loving the victory over the Oregon Ducks, and to be down 14-0 and pull this one off in the fashion the Huskies did is enormous.
David, you and I both thought it could have been a runaway. Uh-oh, here we go. The Ducks are just going to steamroll the Dogs on the road, but Rick Neuheisel, his staff, and his team responded and came out with a big win.
On behalf of Sonny Sixkiller, to Carl Malone and John Bradford in the truck, particularly for John on my behalf, carrying me every week as the true freshman on this broadcast, and to the man who's a senior with all the experience in the world, Sonny Sixkiller, he had to carry the true freshman. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure to work with you, my friend. On behalf of all of them, the Huskies with an enormous win at Autzen Stadium, 42-14. I'm David Locke saying have a good night and be safe.